think that I just come in there and look for knockouts, and that's not the case. You know, I'm actually a sharp, smart fighter.
So, well, wait, I'm here. Who want to fight with me?
I really don't care who's in front of me. I don't feel like no fighter can beat me.
My goal is to demolish everybody, to be honest. Everybody that's in my way. The pinnacle to any weight division is to have all the belts, all of the titles.
Welcome to Bodywork. Welcome back. It's Michael Rogers. Welcome to Bodywork Boxing. It feels so good to be back. It's the special edition, Friday the 13th. Ain't no crazy stuff happening today, but some crazy stuff happened today. You dig? But we're going to get into it, man. And today we're going to be discussing whether or not Brian the Assassin Norman Jr. just inherited the welterweight division. He might be on his Tony Montana. You know what I'm talking about? But I want to get into this, man, and hopefully we'll have some good dialogue. I want to get some people out the way real quick. Cookie Monster, Bodywork, Cookie, salute Cookie, salute Body, salute Cookie, salute Cookie Monster. Easily Baked, Bodywork, salute Easily Baked. We starting off to a good start, and that's what I really like. You know what I'm saying? All I need is my mic check. My mic check. Sounding great as all. I got you. I appreciate you. AC is in the building. Man, I'm hyper, man. I had a productive day. Been listening to some positive stuff, man. Rehearsing some old victories that I had so I can get some new victories under my belt, and it's a good night to talk boxing. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, for sure.
What's going on, AC, man?
Not much, man. I just been, I don't know. I just found just the one video and just went on like a streaming binge of just watching all the coverage from what we about to talk about of what's going on in Japan and everything else, bro. And I'm excited. I'm hella excited.
Yeah, man. My question, I seen some of the footage. I seen Brian Norman. I seen about a 20-minute video from True School.
Yeah, that was an excellent interview. Big shout out to True School. We do what other dudes won't do to us.
Yeah, I seen something from True School, so I want him to get his salutes, you know, for doing that leg work, you know, being in the presence, you know, asking questions, allowing them to be themselves, not trying to trick them out of their spot, trying to get them to say something that they shouldn't be saying. You know what I'm saying? Something that I can appreciate.
Yeah, for sure.
It's kind of refreshing, man. And you starting to see more and more Mr. Brian Norman Jr., but I want to start off by talking about what got us here, because it was a fair height 147 division, and you know, with the quote unquote biggest fish in the pond, you know what I'm saying, moving on, you know, I want to know, my knee-jerk reaction was that Brian Norman Jr. inherited the welterweight division, and I know they like, oh, what do you mean, Mike? And if you listen, I'm gonna tell you, right? I don't like that. Just like Crush when he was on here the other day, I didn't like the whole thing about Pacquiao reinserting himself into the division just when it was starting to congeal and get some momentum. And I don't no disrespect to Pacquiao, man. He used to be one of my guys. But with Barrios coming off that last performance, even though legacy wise, Barrios he's developing a great resume with Keith Thurman, Tank, Ugas, you know, and now Manny Pacquiao, he would be considered legacy wise, he would be considered the man in the division. But I'm looking at more like the future, right? I'm looking at who's like as far as skill wise, you know, in the weight division, like he's a true welterweight as far as being the biggest threat, because we've been following the bouncing ball all along, AC. We've been walking this thing down, you know what I'm saying? We've been waiting this information surface. We've been analyzing it, you know what I'm saying? We've been weighing the options and critically thinking and breaking it down. And to me, I've been saying, man, to me, it seemed like he did. I would say Brian Norman, man. I say that dude pretty dangerous because because I was always saying that it just seemed like as much as the lip service we get and certain individuals saying I do this, I do that, it's just when it comes down to that Brian Norman Jr., man, people start acting real weird. And I'm gonna give just so I'm not just talking, you think I'm not just talking about Boots. You know, I got a couple different people that I can name, because Teofimo, he had the same thing that Keyshawn would have had if Keyshawn wanted to grab onto Teofimo's ankle. Teo had the power to grab on the Brian Norman's ankle, and the offer was there, and they turned it down. Brian Norman said, yeah, hey, let's do it. And they was like, let's reconvene. You know what I'm saying? Boots, and we're going to go back into this whole Boots thing, because people on YouTube, and, you know, and the powers that be that want to be sensational, they still stuck on the whole offer and ducking and all that, but we've debunked this like 1,000 times. But also, when your guy Devin moved up, you know, he moved up, and he wanted to invite the man in for sparring, but he got smoke for everybody else, you know. So not just talking about Boots, I'm just talking about now in the present with the weapons that he has and with the momentum that he has, and looking at his trajectory. You know, what do you think?
Well, looking at his movement and everything, he put himself as, you know, one of the top 3 candidates, I would say. He goes out there, sparks gin, you know, does what he does. He's definitely the front runner to inherit the division. Now, it just really comes down to, when you really look at it, does Barrios have it to inherit the division? Nah, I don't think so. Does any of the other champions, you know, I think it's only Barrios at this point, because Boots got 2 of the belts. And if you take Barrio off the table, logically, the only person standing there is Brian Norman Jr. Now, I've heard someone try to bring up that there's a possibility for Devin Haney, if Devin Haney was to stay up there. I said, no fucking way. I just, being a fan of his, I was like, nah, not If he would have had like a dynamite performance, you know, maybe you can make that argument. But I'd say a person like Rolly could possibly upset the apple cart, because 47 is like 54. It seems right now it might be some moving chairs, but the guy who looks like he's going to automatically inherit it, and they're going to put that all the weight on his shoulders, is going to be Brian Norman. Even though, you know, there are some fans who still may be on the fence and say, you know, I think he may be one of the top 3. And then my argument would be, well, then who are the other 2? Because if he beats Jin, like, what else is, you know, what's the other obstacle? Blair Cobb? You're going to try to bring up Blair? Going to bring Blair in the mix? Barrios? I mean, what is it? You know, how
That's
do we... Go ahead.
And that's kind of like where I'm at with it. I think 47, and I'm gonna get to your comment, Koki, but I think that 47 is it's like 54, except for I think that it's the top dogs aren't as established. It's not as many top dogs, like, because you got Fundora, you got Lubin. When Mel come back, you got Mel, you got Tim Zhu, you got Keith Thurman, you got, if Earl ever poke his head out and don't go straight to 60, you got more established who we know they are. 47 is just deep as hell, where a lot of up and coming guys. And this is something else I want to get to, because I was going to twist this up and do something totally different. And I was going to say, watch how many people get froggy now and their boots is gone.
Yeah.
Watch how many people, you know what I'm saying, it's like, well, you know, like the Jeffersons are moving on up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Watch how many people do that now. And like Coach Key said, he got a lot of prospects, but I want to read this too. I think Hitchens will move on from IBF if he doesn't get WBC or WBO title shot at 140. I see Hitchens going to 147 and being the top dog. Man, I like Hitchens, but at 47, it just depends. It depends. I want to see him against Kambosos. You know, I want to see him against Kambosos and how he rehydrates, and if this, you know, if he's going to struggle like when he was up against Gustavo Lemos. I want to see that. But like as far as skill wise and being more feeling good, yeah. But like I even heard the interviews with Hitchens. I seen Chris Mannix, and he was like, well, no, Sergio Moore and Chris Mannix. And they was basically saying at 5'10" and trying to rehate. Like the dude, I'm trying to tell you, I mean, the dude not 5'10". The dude, he ain't that big. It's really just the rehydration. And the issue for Hitchens is, the issue for him is he's only lacking like a couple pounds. He's not trying to do, you know, what some of these guys do, where they get up and it's like they hydrating like 25 pounds. No, He's saying that he likes to be up around 153, 155. So it's only a matter of like 3 to 5 pounds that he's lacking. You know, that's why it's so bad for him, because it ain't as bad as scraping down. It's like, yeah, he gonna look a little, you know, because, you know, that's like optimal weight with like almost zero body fat and all that, right? But it's the rehydration. It's like him not being able to get up to the 153, 155. So it's them extra 3 or 5 pounds that he don't have. He ain't trying to go up, like he ain't trying to go down to 140 and then jump up to 165. He's not doing it. And I'm telling you, I seen the dude. I'm literally, he was standing like literally right there. I just ain't want to harass him. You know what I'm saying? But the dude was small. I was like, oh shit, that's rich. He's small. Like to me, compared to me, I'm 5'10". That's how I know he ain't 5'10".
Yeah. Now,
you know what I'm saying? I would say my lady flirting with being taller than him. You know what I'm saying? She put the right shoes on. I know, you know what I'm saying? That's no bull. I seen him. So I'm not going by box rec. I'm going by being in that stadium out there where you get the food and the concessions. He was literally right there, and I'm looking right at him.
Now, I'm gonna say this. When you talk about Hitchens going up to 47 and contending, there's a name out there that I want to see him fight somebody other than Boots, because both of his showings, he was the one who put a big question mark and made Boots wear the Riddler shirt. You feel what I'm saying, with all the question marks on it, and that was Karan Kukachin. Now that Boots is gone, what's going to happen with Karan? Because he has a habit of hanging out. Also, you got who is that? I was just looking at. You got Lewis Crocker. I think his last showing was pretty decent. I don't remember if that was win or losing, but I do remember seeing his name up there on the UK channel talking about him, and you know, you just got some dudes. You got Polanco up there, and I just was looking at somebody's name that I was like, you know, if dudes is talking about coming up to 47 and trying to get in the mix and make a name, yeah, Conor Benn, I guess, is coming back down to 47 because he's ranked number 3 with the WBC, and he's got a number 6 slot with the WBA. And there's always Blair Cobb, who's just circling. You feel what I'm saying? And as soon as he find a crack somewhere, he gonna try to, you know, get himself in there, you know, where he wants to be. So 47, you know, there's some smoke, and there's, you know, you got dudes up there. You got dudes that are up and coming at 47 that are kind of dangerous, and you know, there's some guys, maybe one or two guys down that 35 that may find themselves at 47 by next year or towards the end of next year. So 47, I mean, the smoke probably going to clear maybe early 2027 to whereas we can, for me, I think we could definitively say, unless Brian Norman Jr. just go on a rampage and just start beating the shit out of everybody he get in the ring and what.
Yeah, I would say as far as the closest thing to a fighter that belongs there and that's doing what I believe we would want them to do, like doing what they're supposed to do, I think he got the energy, man. Everything that I'm seeing, all the signals that I'm seeing from him, he's showing that he kind of got the energy to be able to do that. But there's a couple names. You got the guy Obvious Griffiths. He's from B&B, right? Yeah. You got Tiger Johnson. You got Jaleel Hackett. Of course, you got Blair. You got Rohan Polanco. I think Polanco and Nicholas Flores. You got Nicholas Flores. You know what I'm saying?
What's this dude? Harlem Eubank just came off a nice little victory.
Harlem Eubank. And I think the wild card has kind of been.
Yeah.
Because so you got to realize what Eddie was doing. And this is why I was saying that, it's a lot of promotional gang banging. It's like a lot of people always like, they throw all the big darts and missiles at PBC, but it's like, it's almost like a one-eyed cop. You know what I'm saying? They steadily looking over there, but it's crime going on all over here. You know what I'm saying? And we always were puzzled as to why Boots and Conor Benn, just add water. Especially if you're talking about making Boots an international star, like taking Boots and giving him a UK fight. Like, as much as we praise them to have him over there and never like do a big fight with him over there, like on an international level, especially coming off the momentum, because I was saying y'all just missed a big opportunity. Boots unified and Conor Benn came off of that Eubanks. Yeah. Just add water with him and Boots. Like, if it was over there, like that would have sold, like, man. And then, but we seen how he got positioned in that IBF and how he was always mum on Boots and Conor Benn. And I'm like, well, how did that never happen? It's almost like Shakur going over there and Andy Cruz just sitting there like, nothing to see here. It's like it never came up. That's why I was saying that's the elephant in the room as to why that never happened. But Eddie get to skate off, never having do that. And I think Eddie is getting spoiled because he convinced Boots to go ahead and move up. Right, he did a little jinky promotion. I'm about that star card. That's the jinky side of Eddie. Even though I salute Eddie for a lot of the things he do, it's two Eddies. It's two Eddies. But like the jinky side was like how he started painting Boots, and it raised the question. Let me ask you something. When he was talking about, he said that Boots was questioning whether or not he can perform, because that's when the T.O. fight popped up, and he was questioning whether or not he can perform at that level. And I'm just like, but you were literally just like a week and a half ago saying, Norman, fight me now, agree to this fight now. And they said, hold on, we got the smoke. When I fight, right? Soon as they yell ding ding ding, they read off everything, I do my business. We can talk the very next day. You were just saying that with all that energy and had Brian Norman Jr. getting slandered, and then not even, a full week later, you're talking about what Boots is concerned about whether he'll be able to perform at 47 and this and this and that. And I'm like, where did that talk come from? For T.O., another 40 moving up who never fought there versus this 147 guy who's a natural 147 with crack, who we can't question whether or not he got power. We can question T.O.'s power. So it was a little mixed signals, man. What do you think about that?
No, it was definitely mixed signals, and this is why it's hard for me to be in the camp of like a Boots or Shakur, because you do one good thing and then turn around and get exposed for doing 3 fucked up things, and it's just like, wow, what the fuck's going on? And who else is starting to be in that same do that same thing? I mean, for many just boxing fans, the Haneys have been guilty of that. Although many of his fans, sometimes we could see it and we'll ignore it, but then there's those times you just can't ignore it. So at the end of the day, it's like the consistency in what you're doing is what will make the fans gravitate towards you and want to pay for you, see your fight, and keep the shit talking that'll be said about you is not necessarily genuine, because they're grouping you in something else. That body you keep bringing up when you talk about the backlash against the Dadagers and how the Normans were somehow affiliated with that, or dragged into that store where they was trying to fit them with them jackets. So at the end of the day, unfairly so, they got dragged into that. But when you hear them talk and you look at how they move, the two always are within sync. You feel what I'm saying? So even in that 20 something interview, the way he was talking and even saying, listen, I'm young enough, I'm gonna be around. Some of these younger dudes up there, listen, y'all want that smoke, I'll give it to you. And I was like, you slowly going to, you keep that same trajectory and get and stay winning, you're gonna have people, on a Brian Norman train and demanding that the things you doing, other fighters start doing. So, he won't have that issue to where people are questioning what he does and what he says and and anything else. He'll just be a solid fighter. What Brian Norman says, he gonna do, and all the weird stuff that Boots and the trainers try to do. He won't nah, I don't get caught up in that. I stand on business, so please don't put me in that. Don't do that bullshit and have them talking about me weird like that. Because I think he learned his lesson from this Boots thing.
Let's do this though. Let's name the toxic dags. Like we got Schofield, right? The Schofields, right? You got the Haneys, right?
Yeah.
You got the Lopez's.
Yeah. I'm gonna put Cambosa's dad up in there because he took a swing at a nigga in that press conference.
Yeah, Cambosa's. He's in there. It's just it ain't as frequent, but he is. He can be that way. But the big ones are those, and then they lump Brian Norman in there. So the only ones that actually got it is the only ones that actually have that really get a lot of that the angst or whatever that cause a lot of stuff is the Schofields, his father, Bill and Devin, and the Normans, and Tio and his dad.
Yeah.
Now the only thing I'm seeing in that is that Brian Norman is a champ. Brian Norman is a champion. You know what I'm saying? He went over in hostile territory and took it. Tio is a champion, 2-time lineal. Devin don't have a belt right now. Schofield don't have a belt right now. Tio he's everybody's at odds with Tio right now because of the racist stuff. Let's take Tio out. The Normans, his father was a boxer. He just got active and beat up Greg Hackett. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I don't know. Like I'm slowly starting to really realize this, man, because I'm bringing these things up for a reason. AC, because it's another guy like this guy. You realize that people like he's a champion under the IBF, having to rehydrate and all that. That's now a talking point. The Normans, they went over hostile territory and got it. I'm just starting to realize that when you got these cults out here and they just want to find something, they're gonna find a reason to not like you.
Yeah.
Because he just don't have the dad. Oh, well, they say it's his style. Well, he got the same style as Devin with more power.
Yeah.
And he didn't do it. He didn't suck down at third and take him. So I'm starting to see that when people want to create a narrative and push, it's just like the musty energy for Andy Cruz. Like it's so much like one of the biggest channels out here. They have such a musty energy when it comes to Andy Cruz, and I'm like, they were saying that all he's doing is clout chasing Keisha. I said, clout chase.
He beat that nigga ass 4 times. How the fuck do you clout chase a nigga that just can't beat you? Basically, after the second time you getting your ass whooped by a dude, it's really done. You're not gonna be able to beat him.
Salute L-Dub.
But a dude beat your ass 4 times.
And look, he came out, went pro, he went back in there, and he
got his ass whooped again.
And so I'm like, and then they say, well, do something in the pros. I'm like, he is doing something in the pros. He's getting ready to fight. He didn't get, you can say he got fast track, but he got fast track in the form of the guys whose record he fought and then being in the 10 rounders.
Yeah.
But he was not on an Olympic Usain Bolt pace to get it like how the other guy, like how Key was. But I'm like, this is what I'm starting to figure out, right? If there are certain people out here on YouTube and in the boxing community, if they don't like you, they're going to create something to not like you.
Yep.
Like they're gonna stick with narratives no matter what. So now, because just think about it. Just last week we had it to where Keyshawn was saying everything in the world. He was loud, he was boisterous, he was talking about he was going to do this, he was going to do that. He missed weight. You know, he had the debacle afterwards. People are making excuses. This week, he's talking this stuff going against a guy from Australia. And they hating on the man saying that, oh man, he's out of character. And yeah, I think he's just, this is like, can y'all make up your minds? Do y'all like champions or not?
Yeah, they said, I saw one headline that said, broke ass Hitchens wants to try to make a $50,000 bet. Like, how is a motherfucker broke ass when he had that shit on him? Like, what the, bro? Like, what is it with him? What is it with him?
I'm trying to tell you, AC, they don't want. See, these guys. Some of these guys are actually living the American dream.
Yeah.
Right. When you start off. Because a lot of the guys that start off, they are not well-to-do. Like, they're boxing because, yeah, they might have got exposed to it, but a lot of them come from, like, he comes from Brooklyn born. I travel many places, but I'm Brooklyn's own, and he's always rep. They say he's been around boxing. Even Lou DiBella, the other promoter, said he remember watching him as a young man running around just watching boxing and got to see it. So it's like they don't like him. He's homegrown. He's headlining in his hometown. And people are still hating, like they just flat out hate. Just like you can only you like they picking for straws right now, trying to figure out something that they don't like about Richardson Hitchens. It's like, yeah, he's talking his smack like everybody else, but they just said nothing about Keyshawn. Why? Because he get knockouts. But then when you say something about Tank, it's not about the knockout. But I've heard, even though I
called
said
boxing, not knockout.
Yeah, it's called boxing and not, but it's the sweet science. Well, he's a sweet scientist. Right, but I also heard somebody say no, it's a narrative out here that he has to stop this guy early, and now I say that yes, he needs to if he wants to get to where he wants to get to as far as notoriety and people rocking with him and people really getting on board. It would definitely catapult him into saying, okay, Hitch, if you can go in there and stop Kambosos, that would do that. But it's crazy how he has to do that, but Devin don't ever have to do that. Like Devin so what? He won. That was a masterclass. It's like, bro, if y'all
going into the fight, nobody was saying Devin has to knock Kambosos out, because going into the fight, people were talking about Devin need to be careful. You going over there to Australia, they may try to take your belt, and he could drop Dev like Kambosos. They was actually giving Kambosos a winning chance against Devin Haney. But in this situation, when you look at it, it's like y'all talking shit about Hitchens. I saw a comment where a guy said, I hope Kambosos kicks his ass because I can't stand when fighters say I've been fighting my whole life. And I'm like, so okay. So I put in a comment under his, I said, so did you have that same energy when Kambosos told that to Devin Haney when they was over in Australia, when Devin Haney was saying, I've been sparring and fighting dudes since a young age, and Kambosos said, but I've been doing it all my whole life, and you ain't on my level. I said, did you have the same energy then? So for me, it's like people tend, like boxing fans, have memories of gnats, of insects, to whereas, okay, you're a boxing fan, you claim this is your fighter, but you have no memory of what your fighter said just 3 weeks ago, because you're like you're like a dog running in a park, chasing every squirrel that crosses that dog's eyesight. So your attention span is gone. Because the minute you focused on a brown squirrel, oh, squirrel, there's a gray one. Oh, now I saw another brown one. Oh. You feel what I'm saying?
And see, that's gaslighting. We know what that is. That's just gaslight, man. People, they not going, oh man, here you go. Because as soon as you point out, here you go, pulling down. But look, I want to get to L Dubs because he said it, and I'm glad he said this. This was unsolicited, but he sees the same thing, and this is why I be trying to say, man. I be saying there are untouchables. There are guys that you cannot be and keep it 100 with when it comes down to talking this boxing. But L Dub Boxing says Bozy does too. Sometimes his interviews don't match up with what his son be saying. No, Virgil Ortiz fallout. And you know what's so funny? I see the same thing, but I can't say nothing because the beehive is just like the D-hive. You know what I'm saying? The beehive is like the D-hive. Now, I seen an article I was reading today, and it was outlining how Boots was moving up. And it says that I guess this was supposed to be coming from Eddie or whatever. But it was saying how yes, he's moving up, and they talked about, you know, the weight struggles and how he was only 50%. They said he was 50% when he fought Demontis Stanionis, rehydrating everything. They said that was a 50% boots against Demontis Stanionis when he didn't have the rehydration. So then it says that they were looking at something with Virgil in August, and they said Virgil wasn't available. And they said we were excited. I'm like, I read it like 3 times. It said, okay, so I looked back and read it, and it said Virgil said that he wasn't ready for August. So I'm thinking, okay, well, maybe that means September. But then it went on to say we were excited. I'm like, excited about what? So you're going to 154. You got these ties to Virgil Ortiz. They say they not. Virgil saying he ain't ready in August. And I'm inferring that maybe it's September. But then you all say that y'all are excited. Excited about what? And then it resorted over to him saying they may link up with Bakram, Murtaza Aliyev. Which I'm like, I don't know why y'all don't just go there. That's uncharted territory. That's an old you can snatch. Like, because we arguably seeing, even though Virgil held on to his old, man, I seen Bodywork win in that fight. And Virgil's one of my guys. He's in my boxes to watch as well. But the stories don't be matching because you all took a page out and y'all slandered Brian Norman Jr. right before his fight. And we gave Boots and them grace going into the Demontis Stanionis fight because we didn't want to overshadow, like, you know, no, we're not getting ahead. All I see is Demontis Stanionis. We gave him that grace. They turn around. They don't want to give Brian Norman that grace, even though Senior said, listen, you have my verbal commitments. Soon as the fight is over, we will get back to you. And you say, nah, y'all ducking, and y'all got all these echo chambers out online regurgitating this stuff to where you can't even honestly assess Brian Norman Jr. without them saying, oh man, well, he ducked Boots. He don't want none. And that's the whole talking point. It's like, okay, cool. Get it all out your system. Everybody put in the comment how you, if you want to call it a mandarin duck, you want to call it a mallard, you know, whatever kind of duck, just go ahead and put it all, get your duck glossary out and label it so we can move on with the conversation.
Now, I just want to interject with this one point to what you're saying, because the other, outside of that talking point, the second thing they're going to go to, and it's binary. It's binary. It's either one. So the second thing they're going to go to is, yeah, but how do you justify him getting the highest pay he ever had in his life? You feel what I'm saying? And he turned that down. how you gonna tell me that's not a duck? And it's like, okay, so when you've been on panels with me, and I've seen you personally talk about whenever a promoter or fighter takes that shit to the internet and start talking money, they don't want the fight.
Right.
So if we're gonna use that as a tell for Eddie Hearn, why, when it came down to fighting Brian Norman, you automatically went to how many times over his highest pay he ever went, and you automatically said, well, we offered him 1.5 million, which is 13 times or 17 times more than what he ever made before. And that was your first statement.
Salute, Jason Williams. Peace, everyone. Salute. Yeah, whenever they do that, I do say that. Yeah, whenever you start negotiating, whenever you negotiate in public, it's like you want to weaponize social media and YouTube through your biddings. You know what I'm saying? That's why Eddie is a master, and I gotta give it to him. He knows how to promote certain things. It's just the
tear you the
matchmaking.
fuck down. I said he'll tear you the fuck down doing that shit. He'll have every fan thinking that, hey, this nigga ain't shit. He ain't never fought nobody. He just started boxing this afternoon. You feel what I'm saying? Like Eddie, I seen him just dog fighters out doing that bullshit.
And then also, because in that same interview, they were talking to Brian Norman on True School, and they were talking to True School, and he basically said, listen, Senior was talking about how he was like, if you go back and look at it, he said Imantas Stanionis made less than us before the quote unquote offer that they offered us. So it's like they sit up there roasting us, talking about, well, you ain't made what 100 and whatever, because you know me, never rub up against another man's rhubarb. I don't give a fuck about the numbers. I just hope they all get paid. And I know that whenever you start negotiating out in public, you don't really want to fight. You want to weaponize YouTube to do your biddings, right? But he said, think about it like this. He said, before this quote unquote offering, before the million and whatever they getting right now for just Sasaki, they were saying that Stanionis made less than what we were making. He said, but when it came down to it, they negotiated with him. There was no problems. There was no issues. They wasn't dragged all in the media, social media like that. They wasn't dragged all over YouTube like that, called onto the red carpet like that, you know, to have to do all this explaining. They didn't do that. And then Boots voluntarily told that information right after the fight and said, man, we gave him more money, which made it look worse. That's why I was saying, if I'm just reading between the lines and I'm giving you full credit for being the biggest, baddest man in 47, but if I'm reading between the lines, it's like you're willing to overpay for Imantas Stanionis, but you don't want to meet these guys anywhere in the middle or give them anything. If your goal, you got to remember, I'm thinking objectively, meaning that I believed you when you said you wanted to be undisputed, you want to unify all the belts. So if your objective was to get all of the belts, you know how political it can be. If you got a fish on the line and they bite and they got, it's a little resistance, but they bite. You got a fish on the line. Saying, yeah, we'll do it. Just, you know what I'm saying? Reel me in. Like, reel me in. Yeah. But you like, nah, you don't, you know what I'm saying? Nah, I don't even want to negotiate. But you go all in on this guy and you pretty much, I ain't gonna say overpay because he got what he negotiated in Stanionis. But it didn't make sense to where you would pay so much for Stanionis and not even try to meet or work with whatever if your goal was to really be undisputed.
Now, alleged rumor has it, which Brian Norman's father did repeat on that same interview, to whereas Boots gave up a percentage of his own money to make sure that fight happened, to help guarantee that he gets the Stanionis fight. That's why it's like one of those situations where You gave us something good. You gave us what on paper was the 50-50 fight that your detractors and some of your fans been asking for, but haven't gotten from you just yet. So you, on paper, that was supposed to be Stanionis. You did what you had to do to make that fight, even if those alleged rumors are true that you gave up that percentage. Okay, Boots, that's what you're supposed to do as the A side. You feel what I'm saying? And that's what you're supposed to do if you really want that fight. And that's being gracious and shit. And I'm gonna pull it back and retract what I just said, because it's not something you're supposed to do. Only a gracious champ that really wants that fight is gonna do it. But then you turn around, and if we hindsight that, you feel what I'm saying? Why wasn't that same energy there to make the Brian Norman fight when it was actually $320,000 that stopped that fight from happening?
Yeah.
When you get down to it, $320,000.
You want to know the elephant in the room too? This the elephant in the room. And this is why I'm gonna say it don't make no sense. And I heard somebody using this today, AC. We be cooking, boy, because they be using these talking points. I heard somebody say this today. This is the elephant in the room right here.
Yeah.
Now think about it. T.O. all in the mix. Ties the Boots. Boots was really an Eddie guy. T.O.'s with Turkey, but Turkey got the bag, and Eddie has a working relationship, and Turkey has a gazillion, quadrillion dollars. If it's a big fight and you are in good graces with your promoter and Eddie believes in you, but Eddie does business with the sugar daddy, I thought he was the answer to all of the problems when it came down to the money.
Now,
because that's why I was trying to say I didn't believe that bullshit anyway. That's why I was always saying that this is what he really was, a fucking Trojan horse. Because think about it. We know, okay, you got next level talent. People compare you to Roy Jones. You know what I'm saying? You just unified. You got all this momentum. Eddie don't match you up with kind of been off of that momentum, and boom, y'all have a big ass fight over there, right? But then you got T.O. on the line, right? And T.O. really won it, and it was 11 million for them, and Turkey was involved. But let's just say Brian Norman was in the mix, and then after coming off an unification, you go into another unification, and the only thing is to wait until after this fight and have the sugar daddy lend you a couple greenbacks to get it over the hump. Like, where's the mystery? Bro. If you work with all these guys, that's why I question, like, what if you work with these guys and he got a gazillion, quadrillion dollars, and Eddie in good graces with him? You see what I'm saying?
No, I get it, because it's only making me go back to that True School interview when they were basically saying the same thing but being nice about it. You feel what I'm saying? To whereas he was like, look, you know, Boots got the relationship with the Turk, so it's not about the money. He was like, it's not about the money, because they got the relationship with the Turk. They over there with them. You feel what I'm saying? He's like, look, we over here just doing us, grinding, doing it from the dirt. That's how he put it. You feel what I'm saying? So I'm like, hey, you ain't never lie with that, bro. God damn, this interview is hot. You feel what I'm saying? So the thing is, Brian Norman Pops also was like, look, we'd be willing to work with the Turk too. You feel what I'm saying? Like, yo, listen, we may you know, they did say they had a couple of conversations with him, but you know, at the end of the day, you know, you're over there with Bob, you're over there with Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn has, you know, like direct connect, like has his text number, has everything he needs. You feel what I'm saying? To get in contact with Turk and make things happen. again, when we talk about Eddie Hearn, why didn't Boots get a Conor Benn fight? Why is that? Why are you going up to 54 without seeing a Conor Benn at 47 if Conor Benn is there? Ain't nobody right now. The other two champs are caught up. Ain't nobody gonna have no issue with you fighting Conor Benn right now.
Look, hey, see, I'm getting ready to go to Deliver. Right? I got a fun fact for you. Ryan Garcia, they saying the man got paid $20 million. He don't have no belt, and he fought Rolly.
Yeah.
They gave Ryan $20 million, bro. So you trying to tell me that you want the biggest fights, you all for the game, you want to see the baddest, and we saying that, okay, right now, aside from Barrios playing over there, you know why? And another thing is that wouldn't interfere. See, that fight wouldn't interfere with the powers that be so much. Like that wouldn't be you taking a piece from over there, not so that party over there can't make a fight. Why? Because Top Rank will work with you. I mean, they sent Jaron over there for Bacardi because the money was right.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So it just don't make no sense. No, it ain't no way around it. That's a liver shot. You get Ryan $20 million to fight Rolly for the belt that Stallianis used to have before he got the full.
Yep.
So you mean to tell me that over, you know what it was? With the Normans and them moving up and moving on with the Jin Sasaki becoming an international attraction, if he go over here and do this man bad in a couple of days, after getting 1 point, I think it's like 1.2, 1 point something, 1.2, I think. I mean, I don't care what the number is, I know it's 1 point something, right? After he do that, yesterday's price ain't today's price.
Yeah.
But you're still trying to tell me that Ryan will be worth all of that, and you and the sugar daddy, he be throwing away money. But he can't find it in his heart to just make a couple, just sprinkle something on it, just sprinkle it. That's why I said none of it makes sense, AC. None of it makes sense to me with all the stuff. But you'll have a bunch of people online. Oh man, like he's good for boxing. Oh man, he did save. It's like no, he gave us some fights and he entertained it just like everybody else. It was some boxing on earlier, and my lady was like, "Why you didn't tell me?" I was like, "Man, that stuff. I mean, it's on the radar, but like we gonna watch if it's on.
Yeah,
we gonna watch anything pretty much if it's on."
Here's the crazy part for me, right? When you looking at the Sheik and people saying that he's good for boxing and stuff like that, you have Brian Norman and you had Jaron Boots, but you were okay after paying Ryan $20 million because you felt he was supposed to go in there and beat Rolly's ass in the same fashion he beat Devin's ass. You feel what I'm saying? But non-juiced. And that was supposed to set up, in your mind, was a bigger fight than Boots unifying with Brian Norman. And you're going to tell us that Boots versus Ryan Garcia was the bigger fight. It was the bigger spectacle, not the bigger fight.
Right.
Let's be honest about what you were trying to do there. So how are you good for boxing when you could sprinkle just $500,000? $500,000 gets you the Boots out of what you're doing. Let's just say we go back and revisit those deals, and $500,000 gets you Boots versus Brian Norman Jr. He gets his third belt. You feel what I'm saying? He's already the ring champion. He's already unified. He's fighting for his third belt, on the road for Boots being consistent to what, whenever big challenges come up and big names come up to fight at 54 or something like that, it's always, no, we're staying at 47 because we want to come undisputed.
Right.
So Turk, why couldn't you intervene with that? Like you was willing to intervene with Canelo in the IBF so Canelo didn't have to face William Skull. Like you intervened with Canelo versus Jake Paul. Like you intervened in so many other situations, but you can't intervene with this guy that Eddie Hearn is telling us is the biggest thing according to BoxRec, and I'm not doubting it. He's the number one ranked guy globally at 47, and he's the number one ranked guy at in America at 47. So why couldn't you intervene on his behalf, bro? That would be a question I'd love to ask the Turk to see what he would tell me.
They not that's too much nutritional value for them. They see they not really they want junk food, man. They on that junk food, man. They want Takis and hot Cheetos and shit. You know, they don't want no broccoli.
They want Utz potato chips with quarter waters.
But see, that's what I'm saying. Like a lot of the stuff, and people would say, "Oh man, you hate," and I'm like, okay, because that's why I never believed that the money thing. Because think about it. At one point in time, Jay-Z and the Diddler, they was trying to get the Carolina Panthers. And I'm like, money ain't a thing like Jermaine Dupri, right? But why didn't they acquire the Panthers? Because it ain't all about money all the time.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so what I'm starting to see, and these are the dots I've been connecting. Whenever the turkey moved, he moved to interfere with others to not be able to make things happen. It's not this guys that, oh, I just want the biggest, baddest. It's like, yes, in certain instances, but think about it. What held up the Bivol and Beterbiev? What held up Bivol and Beterbiev? That was the government that did that, right?
Yeah.
That wasn't a thing where the PBC were trying to make this mega fight and do whatever. No.
Yeah.
You smell what I'm cooking, AC? So he always do things like plucking, like wooing Shakur and doing that, making that move over there to not do that. Getting Canelo over there, knowing that Benavidez is over there with the PBC. Like, if he's getting these pieces and he's willing to sprinkle something on it and make it rain, if he can interfere with something. See, but this is too much. Like, this porridge would be just too much like right.
Yeah. Because
it was only a couple months. Like, if you think about it, since Boots fought and this and that, and he said, I felt great. Well, think about it. You wouldn't be under the IBF rehydration because it'd be another unification. So you really trying to tell me that all of a sudden you just about to bust all the way out the seams and you just couldn't make it. Even if he sprinkled something on it, that's why I say this wouldn't interfere with nothing, because Top Rank would allow them to do that if the money right. As long as Top Rank get their money, the Normans get their money, they willing to do it. But Turkey wouldn't sprinkle nothing on it, and Eddie wouldn't make any concessions to actually make it happen. So it's like this is bigger than him just sprinkling money to try under the guys that he want to see the biggest, baddest fights. This is about something else. I've been trying to tell people this the whole time. I just need things to happen so I can connect the dots for everybody, and then people be like, Eureka.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just like Dr. Jermaine Insane said, Boots didn't want that Brian Norman smoke. And that's what I'm going. I'm like, is there something about that porridge that's just not right? You know what I'm saying?
Too hot. That porridge
is too hot. You know what I'm saying?
For real. That's what she said, bro. That porridge is too hot and that bed is too hard, bro. No, I can't eat hot porridge and then lay on the hard ass bed. Nah, that shit ain't gonna work for me, bro. For real, I need my temperature just right and my bed to be nice and comfy. That's who I am. I'm fucking Boots, Jaron, Boots, Goldilocks, Ennis. Fuck it. You feel what I'm saying? And I hate to say it that way, but when Eddie has you looking like this, Boots, I'm quite sure you saying to yourself, if we were sitting across, you probably be ready to smack the shit out of me. But I'm just saying, bro, this is what your man's got you looking like out here. This is what your homie got you looking like, bro.
That's your man's. You know what I'm saying?
You feel what I'm saying? It's your man's in them that got you looking like this, my nigga. So I'm just trying to tell you, bro, listen, if you don't start to step up and be like, nah, bro, this is Jaron Boots Ennis show. I come from a boxing family. You feel what I'm saying? At the end of the day, you're not gonna be making me look goofy out here like this. So people can start to now connect dots and see and say, yeah, I'm moving a certain way when it's like I put my career in y'all niggas' hands. And y'all got me out here looking fucked up. $320,000 couldn't make that fight. So these motherfuckers won't have me out here calling me Goldilocks and shit. Come on, man. The fuck is y'all doing to me? You feel me? So I'm just like, bro, this is what you got these people out here making you look like. You
They
feel
said
perception is reality, bro.
Yeah, I started saying Russian boots because when I said, man, I need to just go ahead and move up to 54, and they were like, why you Russian boots? Why is everybody? So just now, that's why I be saying hindsight is 2020 looking at. So now he moving up, and everybody like, yeah, man, he should have been. But when I said it, they said Russian boots. I'm like, I thought those were Timbs, not Russian boots.
How we was talking about boots moving up? What? I know at least I was talking about it for the past 2 years. You feel what I'm saying? Then when me, you and Pop really link up, we was talking about it. We was even cooking on the shit when he did the interview on Cigar Talk, when he said that he wants to be undisputed from 47 to 68. Cigar Talk said, so you ain't got no problem going up to make 160, 168. He was like, I could do it right now. Then the next day, Pop bringing it up. Yo, listen, what if Boots go up to 160, 168? Oh, why would he do that? He got all that smoke at 47. Yo, this and that. And it would make more sense for him to go to 54. So then we say, so why don't he go up to 50? Why are you rushing him, bro? Like, come on, man. I don't understand y'all niggas. Some of y'all YouTube niggas, y'all just want to rush a nigga for what? And I'm like,
I got called Earl. That's another reason why I got called the Earl sexual. I'm like, man, Earl ain't even fighting right now. Like, how long are you gonna hold that against me? I talk about them all. I talk about more boxers than your favorite creator.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I was rushing Boots. So in hindsight, see, this is when everybody start getting 20/20 vision in hindsight, when they actually see that, okay, cool, maybe these guys was on to something. Maybe they be actually, you know what I'm saying, calling it like it is in real time, just like everything else. Just like the whole, when I said, man, I was gonna make that video about Keyshawn, I ain't like the way he was moving. I seen some stuff, and now everybody like, oh man, he crashed out, but they making excuses, but they won't come back and say, in real time, I was keeping it a buck. I wasn't hating. I was just saying, listen, seeing some things, man. It don't look right how he moving. Like, I'm not with it. You know, I called it about the Tank stuff. I said this ain't the first time he crashed out. I was calling it, but I couldn't even have honest boxing talk without people saying, oh man, you just hating, you just a Tank-a-maniac. Nah, bro.
Nah, bro. Bring up your favorite fighter to discredit the facts that you're talking about.
And not to mention, when it came to Boots, it's like, well, I went to the fight, so with that, I'm just gonna do all of that just to be able to say I went to the fight. It's like, man, that'd be crazy shit, crazy. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
You being honest about Boots, and the nigga say you must be a Haney fan. You being honest about Boots. Oh, you a Tank fan, and it's like, what the fuck? What are you talking about? I'm talking about this dude. I'm looking at how he moving. I like Jaron Boots Ennis, but that don't mean I'm not gonna be heavily critical on him. And the reason why I'm heavily critical on him is because I like him and I expect much more from him.
I be putting it like this.
Go ahead.
I be putting it like this. Boots is a Ferrari. We want to see the Ferraris up against the Lamborghinis. We love the Ferrari, you know what I'm saying? We like it. We think it's sporty. We think it's, man, like, we tired of seeing you with these Porsches, you know what I'm saying? These souped up little rice beaters, you know what I'm saying? Like, we want to see you up against the Lamborghinis and the Ferraris, you know what I'm saying? That's all. Like, it ain't, you know, it don't really be no hate. You know,
Really test yourself and see if you could out 60 foot a fucking Bugatti. So, you know, at the end of the day, man, it's like, bro, you were born with a certain level of boxing ability. When it comes down to your brothers and shit like that, you're the Serena Williams of the family. You're the one who could actually be the greatest of everyone, because you're the youngest, so everything was inherited in you. All the mistakes don't happen because they happen with the other ones, and even dad. So at the end of the day, that's a well of information. You feel what I'm saying? So for a fan of yours to be critical, there's a certain level of, yeah, I should be critical on with you, because at certain intervals it looks like they're moving you too slow, and I would like to know why. You feel what I'm saying? I would really like to know why. It wasn't like you didn't have the talent to go out and go after it. They just chose not to with you. And that's the thing I wanted to know why. Because you came up and you know, you could have had other fighters' names on your resume. You feel what I'm saying? They would be good names, I think, better than a Lipinets and a Cassio Clayton. You feel
yeah,
what I'm saying?
and that's not even really to take away from Boots and who he is as a fighter. It's more to say, like with me, on paper, him and T.O., on paper, it sound and it look good. 2-time lineal against unified, you know, welterweight, biggest fish in the pond. It looks good, but then, in my opinion, I reduce it down to, no, that's another guy without the dimensions really for welterweight. I mean, he can probably get away with welterweight. You know, he can get away with it, but his power hasn't been the same since 35, and that's visible. And that's just a layup for you. But you gotta think about it. I was the same guy that said Sabril Matias should have went up there when they both couldn't get a fight, and they both was under the IBF, and I thought they both would look better. You know, I was the same guy that said that. I was the same guy that said, well, Devin, if he rehydrating like that, then when he go up there, why not him fight Boots? And when he touched down at 40, why not him fight Gary Antoine Russell? It's like we keep the smoke, we keep the same energy for them all, you know. But like Jason Williams said, he said, nah, other channels protect and deflect for their favorite fighters. And that's exactly right. It's just for me, it's like I'm tired of, it's not that I don't want to see Boots be successful. It's just like I want to see him up against some of these guys where he don't have all the advantages. But that's a rule that I have for them all. Well, I want to see them all at a disadvantage. I want to see them all when the advantages are mixed up. That's how we get the best fights. It's not somebody coming in and I got like what was getting ready to happen with Keyshawn and De Los Santos. We thought that was still a good fight. It's just that I think he took it to that last extreme, trying to be a true. That's a straight weight bully. Like you can kind of put lipstick on that pig all you want, but that's what he was about to try to do. I don't want to see that because I actually like De Los Santos too. It's like, what's wrong with requesting that the advantages are not always in one fighter's favor? Mix it up so that sometimes we don't know, we don't know the outcome. How many times do we see fights where we damn near know what's going to happen before the fight even happens?
Yeah. And this is why I'm a big advocate for Pro Box, because Pro Box 9.9 times out of 10, I don't really know who any of those guys are, but it's just like I can truly watch a boxing match, not know shit about either dude, and just say, wow, is this a good fight or is it a bad fight? And for me, it was jokingly said about me, I get spoiled watching, big name fights, because it's like I see how you match made this shit right now. And when you get good fights that if they both come in where they're supposed to be, like the Keyshawn versus De Los Santos fight, yes, De Los Santos had a layoff, but he's a good enough puncher. And he brings that thing to the table that if Keyshawn overlooks him, bro, De Los Santos could could really, really test that chin, and we'll know whether or not Keyshawn could take that shot. And if Keyshawn beats De Los Santos' ass like that, then what kind of pressure does that put on everyone to say, yo, Key, when you gonna drop this brother shit and fight Shakur? Because there's like the whole fighting De Los Santos thing, and both y'all in the same division. You could try to put lipstick on that pig. You feel what I'm saying? A wig and a Liz Claiborne fucking dress on the shit, but I'm still gonna look at it and say, oh, you just dressed up a pig, bro. That shit is crazy. So
yeah, and it for me, and going back to that one thing right there was like, the one thing I always say when they be talking about the weight bullying and how it's unfair, the way it is unfair is because your weight decides your punch resistance. So even if somebody agree and they take a couple extra dollars, when you go in there when you go in there at 140 pounds and somebody then dipped down and made 135, and you rehydrate even more, and he didn't want to take any clauses or anything either. So it's like, no, you wanted that because that was extra punch resistance. So even if y'all both was down there and y'all was struggling, at least y'all gonna be on the same level as where y'all made that weight. And that's why a lot of the Haney fans were outraged. But then they said, okay, cool, let's do it. They took the money, but they were taking the money with a risk because now his punch resistance is going to be better than yours. People don't talk about that aspect of the whole rehydration and all that. That's the reason why when Hitchens fought Gustavo Lemos, it looked different than when Gustavo Lemos fought Keyshawn. This is what I was talking about in real time. They were doing that under the IBF.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then after that, Gustavo Lemos got pulled down. He blew weight because he might have been smart, even though he got his ass stopped. But like that matters. What's up, Bills? Salute, man.
What's going on, man? You know, trying to see what's up with y'all. You know, I see the show sponsored by ProBox, man. They better send AC a shirt or something, man. Like,
nah, it's man. I appreciate what they do, bro. I definitely got a strong appreciation for what they do.
They're like the NBA fan watching the G League. Like, boy, them boys right there be getting there balling, boy. I'm trying to tell y'all.
Yeah, because they trying to get them NBA contracts. That's what
you're right.
Niggas ball. For real. So, but what you think about the possibility of or maybe the inevitability that Brian Norman inherits the welterweight division? Do you think? What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I've been seeing it. After he body bagged Jen and bring it home, I see a lot of people. I mean, he ain't gonna inherit it. It's gonna be a lot of running and politics, trying to wait for him to have weight issues. You know what I'm saying? But he young. They trying to weigh him out. You know what I'm saying? So Boots, I guess Boots couldn't take it no more. You know what I mean? Or whatever his politics is. So is he the Virgil fight locked in?
I don't know about.
No,
I don't know.
No, I don't think so. I mean, I think they said from the article. You got to go back. I normally like to watch or read like 2 or 3 articles and then go and see what I can find on video. But from the article I read, they said that Virgil wouldn't be ready for August. So I was reasoning maybe September. You know.
So that's
oh my God.
Yeah.
That was an alley hoop. That was an alley hoop for somebody that's trying to hint that that's the fight Boots want. Ain't nobody heard nothing from Boots, which is normal. Like, I mean, dude, what you doing? Like, you still gotta promote yourself. You still a fighter that in this lane. Like, I don't know if you ain't gotta like to talk, but shit, you got a homeboy that want to do all your videos and talk to you in the car with your nerd glasses on and walk with you while you're training and run with you. I mean, do something on the internet.
See, hey, can I come in with this real fast? Because I'm looking at the rankings at 47. And Boots is going up, right? That leaves the IBF and the WBA open. Barrios is caught up. Brian Norman will be, is caught up right now. Rolly is the regular champion.
Look at that shit. That's crazy work, my boy.
But remember, AC. But hold on, remember when I said this though. I talked about this. I said, remember when you
said it, but it never sunk in.
We was on.
Until I'm looking at it.
I said, don't y'all think it's weird that coming off of a suspension and then you're talking about Rolly that they were going to fight for the same belt that Stan Giannis had? I said, ain't that weird? I said it over there on the smoke session. I was like, ain't that weird? Because this was already mapped out, man.
So here's the second part of it. I saw two other content creators. I mean, but they were talking about something that rumors that are floating around that Devin may be trying to get a fight with Rolly, right? And I brought up earlier, why don't, if Brian Norman sparks off Jin Sasaki in Japan, coming off with that momentum, go right after Rolly. Somebody told me that didn't make sense, but when you really looking at it, Boots going up to 54 right now, Rolly gonna be that champ. That's a unification right there.
Right there.
But look.
Rolly gonna get the Barrios fight.
But look, this I think so too. But look, this what it was. They thought Ryan was gonna win. So Ryan would have been, Ryan would have been where Stan Giannis was, which would have inherited that belt, right? But then Conor Ben, where's Conor Ben at in the IBF? Because the last time I checked, I thought
Conor Ben, right now, I'm gonna tell you this, it's gonna break your heart. Conor Ben is nowhere in the top 15. You know who's there? That's sitting at the number one spot? Lewis Crocker.
But wasn't he like number 3?
Yeah,
going
Lewis
into
Crocker.
that. I'm saying Conor Ben didn't Conor Ben move
Conor
up
Ben
to
is number 3
in the
for
IBF?
the WBC. He's number 3 for the WBC.
The check ain't cleared yet, man.
He's number 6 for the WBA. He's not ranked in the WBO no more. He's not ranked in the WBO anymore, and he's not ranked in the IBF. He's only in the WBA and WBC.
So when did he fall out of the IBF?
I never really saw him in the IBF. I only knew Conor Ben. Like most of the time I've always watched Conor Ben, he's always been for me in the WBO. Because remember he got up to the number 5th spot and then popped dirty. Then he lost that because he was about to be if he hadn't have popped dirty, he was supposed to move up to the number 4 spot.
Wow.
Yeah. This was mapped out. That's why I was trying to say, man. This like that's why I didn't understand. That's why I got, I ain't gonna say I got a little upset because I'm like, see, I don't think that you gotta like really try to shit on another fighter just to elevate your stock. And when they came out and Eddie did that smear campaign on Brian Norman the last time, I was just like, why you gotta do that? Why you gotta try to smear this man? Because like something down in me was saying that you don't really want that smoke. So why even do that? Especially with the move that was made and putting these people in position, knowing that Boots was gonna move up. Because I had already said, listen, Boots, you already beat the one thing that they hold against Tank as far as him not having unified. You unified. Why keep sucking yourself down and making all these excuses and shitting on everybody else who just won't take whatever they throw at you the first time? Because think about it. They smeared Charles Conwell. They said they sent them off. They tried to say their version of them was lying. But I'm like, see, this is where the catch-22 is. You can't say you sent the offer and they turned it down, so they ducking. But Virgil Ortiz sent you an offer and you turned it down and you're not ducking.
Yeah.
The only thing that alleviated that pressure was the fact that you went on and got the unification. I said, now that you got your unification, yeah, you had some lofty goals, right? You could have been on your way if it wasn't so political. You can go ahead and at least fight and challenge for all of those belts. That's not gonna happen. Go ahead and move up. That's when they said that I was basically saying I was rushing him. I'm like, no, it just makes logical sense where it's more names up there at 54. So now they decide to do that after putting everybody in position and muddying the waters for everybody else. This was been happening, y'all. Eddie, they are already this been happening. This is why Sugar Daddy ain't going to sprinkle nothing on it, because they know the plan. They just pay the fans.
Yeah.
Wow. I've been pushing for Rolly, man. I'm gonna get me a Rolly shirt. Nah, it's over with.
Now
My
here's
boy
the crazy
finna get a
part.
belt.
Here's the crazy part. What happens with Shakaram Giasov?
Exactly. Because that was advertised at the fight, that when he fought that fight, he basically said, I'm not stepping aside no more, because Boots inherited that mandatory. He had inherited that mandatory as soon as he won.
He got to fight Rolly.
Yep.
That's what it sounds like. He going to fight Rolly. And Rolly going to get this belt. My boy. We'll have to give him another nickname. I'm going to come up with one.
But going back to something AC said, like, why did Team Haney, why did they get so upset when Marcello told Rolly to go ahead and go fight Devin if they gonna spin the block and now say they interested in fight? They reaching for straws, if you ask me. They a man without a land. They looking bad right now. They looking desperate. They out there trolling Richardson Hitchens. Just like, go find you somebody to fight, man.
Yeah.
And move around.
Yeah, I think who was talking about it might have been somebody read an article from Dan Rayfield or one of these other big sports writers that says the rumor mill has it that Devin Haney's trying to make a fight with Rolly Romero. So I'm like, okay, so do you have inside? I'm like looking at it right now that Boots going up. Is there inside information that you feel what I'm saying? You gonna force Giasov out? You feel what I'm saying, to try to take that Rolly fight? Because when you kind of look at it, it all works in the Haney's favor if they decide to take that route. But
I don't know.
Coming off that, because Conor Benn, is right there, and that's a good title defense for whoever.
But Conor Benn might be 154 though.
Nah, he's ranked number 6 and number 3. He was always in the WBO. To me, this is brand new. I didn't see Conor Benn's name. I'm gonna just say last month. And as much as we go to the rankings, I haven't seen Conor Benn's name as high as it is, even in the WBC or the WBA.
I mean, with the way y'all slicing it up, though, it seemed like PBC trying to get 147 back.
That's what it sounds like.
We knew that, because that's what the whole Manny thing is. That's why I love Manny as a legend. He used to be one of my guys, but I hope at least Barrios muster whatever he can muster to stop that, because he didn't need to get inserted in there and mess it up. It was just 147 was just now starting to form again. It was the glamour division. I call it D block. This is what I've been calling. I've been calling it D block for the longest time, and I'm like, it was just now starting to form a little bit.
Right.
And then they throw this monkey wrench in there. But let me ask something, and I'm gonna get off of this. Let me ask you something, Bill. With how Devin fought Jose Ramirez, you really think he gonna hop his ass in there with Rolly Romero?
Hell no.
And why is Conor Benn not an option for Devin?
Huh?
Why is Conor Benn not an option for Devin?
The one that was a part of damn near could be argued the fight of the year. That Conor Benn, you want Devin to get in there with that? That just got lit up by somebody that's way heavier and way taller than him, and he was eating that shit. You want Devin to get in with that monster? Nah.
So we still picking out Egyptian cotton for Devin. Like that's why I be on. That's why I say that miss me with that pound for pound shit. If we out here looking for 100% Egyptian cotton and shit.
He ain't ready yet, man. Conor Ben will just like. I don't think he's mentally ready for a Conor Ben.
Right.
You
I don't
feel
think
what
he's
I'm
mentally ready to take that shot.
I honestly, because of that performance, I honestly think he's probably like 2 more fights away from being ready for anything close to a Conor Ben. Take a couple of tomato cans, get yourself a Cordinia, get yourself a patty. You feel what I'm saying? Spark them.
You heard it here first, man.
Have the internet and other content creators saying, "Yeah, Devin's back." Did you see?
You heard it here first, man. September the 13th. Since Turk talking about they gonna be trying to get up and coming fighters and stuff on the undercard. Rolly and Conor Ben for the belt on the undercard.
Oh, that's a good.
That's a scrap.
Oh, yeah.
That's a scrap.
I like that, Bills. I like that.
That would be. We don't know who gonna show up.
I got bad news for you, Bills. I got bad news for you.
Oh man,
this sugar daddy. He said he looking for inexpensive, man. It's the first time I heard somebody with a quadrillion dollars say that he wants inexpensive names.
That's daddy Dana White.
Hey, listen, if he want inexpensive names, you know who'll turn your card up for you?
Blair.
You put an Abdullah Mason on there and put the youngest Davis brother on there. The one that, he was kind of.
You don't have to spend a whole bunch of money for some of these fights, though. You don't have to spend a whole bunch of money for a Rolly and damn Conor Ben. I mean,
but Bill, this is my point, man. If you ever seen a sugar daddy talking to a sugar baby, and he's talking about what's the price on that and how much, like, come on, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because you advertise this is that blue magic. You know what I'm saying? You gave us that dope, that raw and uncut. Now you putting so much cut on it.
The sugar daddy pull up in a classic Benz talking about, yeah, baby girl, where you want to go eat tonight, but make sure it's inexpensive.
Well, that's him riding with his under pimp, trying to tell him, man, you don't need to be getting these motherfuckers out of, man. See, we need to be keeping this money, dog. What's going on with you? Pimping.
And that's Dana White. Pimp called Slickback. That's what it is, bro.
But the quality of the sugar baby gonna go down, man. You're gonna be messing with bullet wounds and bullet holes and stab wounds. Gout.
It's quality over quantity. You trying to push this agenda that we want motherfucker.
I can't say it.
We want these motherfuckers on the undercard. Like, man, quit listening to Dana White, man.
Yo, Body. When you was talking about bullet wounds and shit, I was like, I was gonna say C-section scars.
Yeah, I'm telling you,
the whole 9, man.
Got
you know what I'm saying?
Like, nah, shorty, how you out here trying to sell butt crack and you got that big ass C-section scar?
Hey, they don't care, man.
But hey, man, the tides are turning, man, and that whole quadrillion, gazillion, they messed up the lick, man. They messed it up, man. It's the same thing I was talking about the other day how they messed up the PPP loans, man. They ain't never gonna do that shit again, man.
Yeah.
Hey, but what I can say, Rolly did kind of save the night, so he might. You know what I'm saying? He might. These are 2 fighters that made good fights for him, though. Rolly and Ben. So
I like that fight.
Could be. That could, and it's for a belt, because I'm pretty sure Rolly, if Boots move up, and hell, Boots
Yeah,
first
and then
fight it, and Boots first fight on 154 can be on the undercard too.
and tell Giasov he get the winner. He get the winner of that. Giasov will be happy.
I don't think that man want to step aside no more, man. But they gonna have to pay him. But see, money gonna appear for that. That step aside gonna appear for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but that makes sense though. Like, I mean, he gonna have to do something with this undercard, man. Oh, I mean, and it's on Netflix. Like, bro, you this shit for you to take over. This on Netflix. People, grandma and uncles and people that don't watch boxing like that gonna be trying to watch this. But oh, I heard and just like the Tyson shit. Like my mother-in-law don't watch boxing. She was like, you see the Tyson fight? I'm like, really? Like, just out the blue. Like, man, come on, you gotta have a great card, man. Just so people know, like, boxing is all the way back. It ain't went nowhere. Or, you know what I'm saying? Like, just give me Rolly and Ben, man. I want Rolly to get his belt, man, and show the world again.
You think he can beat Conor Ben, or you trolling?
I think he can beat Conor Ben, man. This Rolly, I'm with him.
Yeah,
he's not long before.
I think he like this Rolly. I'm gonna say I like this Rolly. I don't know what
discipline Rolly. Like he didn't.
I don't know what it is, bro. It was just amazing watching him fight to me. I was like, get the fuck out of here. This is not Rolly Romero. With the
I mean, from the way he talked, to the way he fought that night, man, it was like a 360. It wasn't even 3, it was a 180. He turned the corner like, oh, if he just stayed disciplined in the fight, whoever trained him, and he did exactly what they told him to do, that right hand did not come down the whole fight, and Ryan sit there look like a baby. So and then he cried like a baby. Come on, man. I like this Rolling, man.
So you thought Ryan fought? You think Ryan fought to the fullest of his capabilities?
Yes. I think he was neutralized because power make a difference. You got when Tank hit you, you was like, oh, okay. You still were trying to swing for the fences. When Rolly hit you, you was like, hold the hell up.
Yeah.
And you can't get your shot off. It wasn't no opening for you to get that left hook off.
Nah, bro. I was just looking at just Googling looking at fighters box rec. Lewis Crocker, that's the dude out of Ireland. He just fought Paddy Donovan, who's ranked number 3 in the IBF, right? Paddy Donovan was disqualified because the cuts that, he lost a point in 2 rounds for headbutts, and then he did some fucked up shit, which kind of like threw Lewis Crocker down, and the ref just called off the fight and shit like that for disqualification and shit like that. So yeah, I mean, Paddy Donovan was putting hands on Lewis Crocker because the cuts he had over both of his eyes, them shits was from punches.
So Bobby,
it was a good scrap.
You don't think Rolly can beat Conor Ben?
I used to be real big on Conor Ben, but then after the egg situation, it was so much of a significant difference that I was just like, man, something was up with that. So I kind of, I'm not pulling for him. I think it was a valiant effort, but that's why when we was over there, I was over because Marky was trying to say, I don't see what the big deal. I said the big deal is that Eubanks can't rehydrate. They got that man restricted. And That's a big dude. That's not a small dude. So it made it look more competitive, than what it really was. So I'm not Conor Ben it was a good fight. The optics of it was a good fight, but Conor Ben, I'm not really, he hasn't won me all the way back over yet because I seen him against Pete Dobb, that dude Pete Dobson, and he couldn't, he couldn't do nothing with P Dog really. You know, I mean, I'm like, so he hasn't looked the same since the egg situation.
So that's 2 for Rolly. That's 2 for Rolly. Y'all heard it here first on Bodywork. That's 2 for Rolly. Who you got, AC?
But I'm not. But hold on. I ain't talking about Rolly. I don't know if Rolly can do that again, man. Because for some reason, man, I think Ryan left something on the table, man. I don't know if Oscar got in his head. I don't want to be no conspiracy theorist, but Ryan, he was non-committal. I seen people put their hands in their pockets, but like, it's like he just stopped trying. Like, I ain't never seen, like, I mean, yeah, I don't know, man. I gotta see Ryan again, but I seen Ryan against Duarte when he was going into that taco shell.
Right.
And then he came out and was whipping that hook. He was throwing rights and whipping that hook and then he got like, because he the type that where he'll get
Hey, I'll be right back. I'll be right back.
You gotta wake Ryan up. You said you gotta go?
No, he said he'd be back.
Yo, okay. You gotta wake Ryan up. Like, once Ryan get woke up and he's like, okay, oh, so you want to fight? He'll try to turn up, and like he didn't turn up to me. So I'm like, my question to you is, like, 9 times out of 10, do Rolly beat Ryan 9 times out of 10?
9 times out of 10, nah, he doesn't beat Ryan.
Because I was saying this is what I thought in a triangle theory, right? In a triangle theory, I think Ryan got Devin's number, but I think Rolly might have Ryan's number. But according to what happened in sparring and previous, the familiarity that they got, I think that's a numbers thing where one of them got the other number, the other one got the other number, and to complete the theory, you would actually have to see Devin fight Rolly to actually figure out if that's real. But I think Rolly might have, it's something about that sparring, because I know Rolly got the best of him in that sparring. That was a while ago, but it says something about Game 7 and what happened with Ryan.
That power.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I don't know what happened 9 times out of 10. I just don't think that was Ryan. And I like Rolly. It looked, but the optics of that, it made Rolly look, the way he acted, the things he said, that was like, man, Rolly, he played his part. But that's not I look at it like this. The backlash that Ryan took and how they said, oh, it was just because of the Osterine and it was this, and they tried to dismiss all of that and all of the backlash he got up until they came back. They was shitting on him, saying, oh man, you a cheater, you the scum of the earth, you this and this and that. He comes back after a year, he fights Rolly, he gets knocked down, he put his hands in his pocket. It's like, I need a little more data to figure out if Ryan Head is in the game, if he really loved this shit or not, and see where he's at. Because I couldn't really gauge much from that fight. And let's not forget, everybody was shitting on Rolly prior to him doing that to Ryan. So some of that praise that Rolly's getting is because they feel vindicated. It's just like seeing Devin going up to Rolly, basically congratulating him and looking like he was so fucking relieved. It's like, he didn't do it. I mean, you didn't do it. He did that to Ryan. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I'm kind of trying to be balanced about it and not like over interpret what I saw, you know, but I need to see I need to see more.
I'm gonna keep it a being with you. There's the second time I watched that fight, right? I'm gonna say I had 2 reactions to the fight. You feel what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. One was leaning towards a talking point you just said, whereas I felt vindicated because of the Osterine thing. You feel what I'm saying? After that, well, I could say I had 3 reactions. After that, the second time I looked at the fight, I was I was impressed with not Rolly's technique, not that I felt he became some world beater or anything like that. When I talk about what impressed me the most with Rolly was his discipline. How he stayed disciplined and pretty much disciplined in that fight. You could still see the technical flaws, but he was disciplined. And I
Yeah.
was, wow, this is crazy. I'm watching this dude learn how to box now, stay disciplined, and deliver those power shots when the opening is right there. Just don't be winging them shits. Okay, yeah, Rolly, I give you props on that. You feel what I'm saying? Do I think if he fought a Devin that fought, let's just say Cambosis or Regis Prograis, either version of that Devin, no, I don't think Rolly beats him. He loses that fight on points, unanimous decision. You feel what I'm saying? So for me, looking at the possibility of Rolly versus Conor Benn to me still wings his punches. You feel what I'm saying? And that's the flaw that I never really liked. It's like, slow the punches down a little bit, bro. Everything doesn't have to come at you 100 miles an hour. You feel what I'm saying? You could take some steam off those punches to set the trap and then go boom, boom. You feel what I'm saying? Because he could have did that even though he had all of those advantages with Eubanks. And for me, I still look at it like this. The spectacle of it, okay, cool. But you let Chris Eubanks come in the way Chris Eubanks went to a fight, Conor Benn wouldn't have made it 6 rounds.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just the way I feel. You feel what I'm saying? That's why when the fight was first announced, I was like, oh my God, he about to destroy Conor Benn. Why the fuck would you do that? You're not on that man's level. But then the closer the fight came, all of those restrictions, I just said, I want to see how this fight looked with Eubanks under all of those restrictions. And you still won. That's the crazy shit.
Yeah.
You still won. So I'm like, to me, that's what tells me Conor Benn versus Rolly right now would be a rock'em sock'em. Yo, I want to see that motherfucker. Because I don't know if Conor Benn throwing them hard ass punches that just land like pillows, like wah! It's like getting hit with the fluffy thing that got the powder makeup on it that the so,
I think you echoing. You either got the YouTube open, Pop, or
it's only me and you, because I'm hearing it go back and forth. No, it stopped now. I think that's Pop.
Nah, that's why I had to mute it. But yeah, you see the background.
I'll mute up for Pop to talk.
Yeah, it's either the background or the YouTube still open. What's up, Pop? I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I think it's a wild card. It's a toss up, and I just want to sample size with Rolly. I like the direction. You brought up a great point about him being disciplined. I didn't know if Rolly could do that. Like, we didn't expect that. Everybody was thinking that Rolly. I mean, people can say what they want now, and they can try to be hindsight. You know, it's 2020 now, but like, we all had Brian stopping Rolly. I don't give a fuck who you was. I mean, you had some people that was just like pulling for Rolly just because of the Devin debacle, but most boxing people, I would say 80% of the people was thinking Ryan was going to stop Rolly, man. They didn't think that Rolly was going to be able to do that. So I just want to see Rolly. I want to see another sample size. Bill say I didn't, but yeah, you rocking with Rolly kind of hard, but I think you did say that over there on Pop. I think you was.
Yeah,
one of the ones.
He did say
Yeah.
Rolly was gonna knock him out. He said. Rolly.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. Yeah, I give you credit for that, Bills. But most of us thought, you know what I'm saying, Ryan was going, because we thought that he really wanted redemption after the Osterring thing, and to show that you know, that's not what it was. It was just that I got this guy number. So I thought he was gonna be a little more ambitious. He was gonna be a little bit more ambitious than what he was to get him match.
Yeah. You
okay,
yeah.
My fault.
But what's going on, man?
Same shit, man.
147 wide open.
Yeah, it is.
A 147 wide open. New boots is like, I keep saying it and saying it. One of the promotional companies going to hand over they belts to Eddie Hearn and Boots, and it's just that easy. Not like that. You're going to pay $3 million minimum for a unification. If you wasn't, you had to move up. Simple as that.
Well, I know Barrio's gonna get his money with the Pacquiao fight, but like, what did that do for the welterweight division? And who wins that?
Ooh, that's a question to Pop. Pop, your joint is on?
Yeah, it's on. You said, what does it do for the culture?
No. What does it do for boxing inserting Manny Pacquiao at 47?
In time, I gotta tell y'all, man, it does Boots going to 54. Get the fuck out of the division.
So how does that affect, the other guys out there? Like inserting Manny Pacquiao back into 47 when the division, was IBF is wide open right now and the WBA is open right now. You feel what I'm saying? I was just bringing up this dude Lewis Crocker, Irish fighter. You feel what I'm saying? He was on one of these undercards with one of these UK fighters that previously fought a minute ago, but he's right there. He's sitting at the number 1 spot for the IBF, and you got Rowley as the regular champion for the WBA. So there was rumors that Dev was trying to make that fight with Rowley, and I mentioned even earlier on your joint when I was talking about Brian Norman fighting a Rolly Romero. So how does Manny Pacquiao fit in all of that when we trying to decide who's going to inherit the division?
I just told you, everything you saying is cool, but to get Boots to fuck up that division, that's the only reason I see Manny Pacquiao coming back. Barrios sat out for over a year not to fight nobody, and then he come back to fight Pacquiao on a loaded undercard.
Wait a minute, the last time Barrios fought on that Jake Paul card, that was last year?
Yeah.
That was on a Tyson card, right?
Yeah. Damn.
Yeah. He ain't been doing shit, and he ain't look good since he won the belt. So you think they're gonna put him in there with Boots and just hand over the belt? Like, here you go, Boots. Here goes the belt for 2.3. Man, hell no. We gave you the belt, or we gave you one belt already with Stanley Owens. We seen what that looked like.
So who wins? Who wins between Barrios and Pacquiao?
I want to say Pacquiao. I mean, I want to say Barrios because he should, but I don't know. Pacquiao is special, man. I don't know though. I don't know if he ain't taking his special juice. I really don't know what's gonna happen. If he ain't got his special juice, I don't know what's gonna happen. Well, I'm leaning towards Barrios, but.
So what happens after that?
A cakewalk for Pacquiao, so he can make up some of that money for running for president over there. Then he go off into the sunset.
But let's say Barrios win, then what are you gonna do?
Like Brian Norman Jr.
You think Barrios gonna go after Brian Norman?
I think that's a more winnable fight for him. I'm being real, man. I didn't think after watching Boots dog walk standing on this, I was saying like whatever welterweight I thought had a chance against him went out the fucking window. No rehydration clause, fighting boots at welterweight. Problem. That's just like what me Ohio was saying. Don't think Stanley is gonna be the same fighter ever again the way Boots did him.
We'll see when if he come back, but I'm gonna say this. So where do you have Rolly? Because Rolly about to either be elevated or he gonna fight Giasov, or they gonna make this kind of Ben joint, or Devin Haney's gonna go after him. But he got options right now.
Yeah. Is Rolly a free agent?
That
I don't think so.
I think he's still down with the PBC.
Well, the last fight was that was Rider season. I don't really know who or where he's at or where he's from. So depending on who the Sheik want to get that damn belt, or somebody got somebody in line for that belt, they may just keep Rolly out the loop for a little bit.
But how do you do that when Rolly's the regular? Like Rolly's in a position right now to where, from what I saw, way that the WBA runs they regular champion, the regular champion requests to fight the super champion. If the super champion wants it, he can take the fight or he can deny the fight.
Now that there is no super champion, when Boots moves up and vacates, I mean, I could see Rolly. I just think they see Rolly as too unpredictable, and I think they ain't gonna. I don't know. Even if you do get the belt, they're gonna try to get up off of him immediately.
So do they match him? So do they say, all right, if that's the case, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got, let's say the fight happens on the Riyadh season, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you fucking with Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn is gonna put his boy Conor Ben in the mix. You feel what I'm saying? Meanwhile, Devin and DHP is gonna try to talk directly to Rolly. So if that's what you want, you gotta pay Giasov some bread, bro. Because nothing's gonna happen with Giasov being right there. The fight was supposed to happen. Y'all was supposed to be coming close to a purse bid or whatever. And then this dude just says, in the middle of all that, I'm going to 54.
Giasov's in the WBA?
Yeah.
Here's what I don't know.
Who's inherited that mandatory, and he had to deal with that.
That was a backwards fight for Boots. Anything other than a unification was backwards fight for Boots. So, whoever they move up is if they elevate Rolly, he probably gonna have to fight Giasov. That mandatory. If he don't got another fight out there, then he probably gonna have to fight that mandatory if he get elevated. So, I'm just not sure that they feel comfortable as Rolly as a champion.
So the point I'm making is this: you got Devin Haney and you got Conor Ben as two people that I just heard in the rumor mills. Rumor has it. You feel what I'm saying? Alleged rumors that have it. Conor Ben is ranked number 6, and Devin Haney is ranked number 2, behind Giasov. You feel what I'm saying?
WBA?
Yes.
How the fuck you do that?
Who?
Devin Haney.
I have no idea. He's ranked.
Now this shit don't even matter, man. Like, I don't know how the fuck you just went to number 2.
That's my point. So you got Conor Ben at number 6, and you got Devin Haney at number 2, right? Also, you got Ryan Garcia number 3. You got Stanionis at number 4, and Raw Cruel at number 5. Those people are ahead of Conor Ben. But the rumor has it Conor Ben or Devin Haney is looking for Rolly.
I got Devin Haney. I thought Devin Haney would probably do the Ryan fight and then go out to Barrios. That's what I thought he would do, but now there's no Ryan fight, no Tio fight. I don't know what Devin does.
He a man without a land, man. He's looking desperate. He out here chasing. I don't know what he doing, man. He over there yapping with. He got his father over there yapping with Richardson Hitchens. I'm like, man, you got to pick a weight. First thing he need to do is pick a weight class. You can't be ranked number one at 147, and then you doing all this catchweight stuff, and that's okay. Nobody's saying nothing. So he need to pick the weight class, because while you yapping at Hitchens, he ain't moved. He's at 40 with an IBF. So that's just out the window. You know, I mean, and I'm not sure if Richardson Hitchens is gonna move up. I don't know if he's gonna move up right after this. You know, I don't know. You know, I don't really see him as a welterweight right now, even though he got a good skill set. So I'm wiping that out. Him circling back to Rolly, I'll be okay with that. I'd be okay with Devin going out to Rolly if it's at a full 147, but not this catchweight stuff.
Yeah.
You know, I'd be okay with him going ahead and fighting. Conor Ben make the most sense to me. Devin and Conor Ben make the most sense to me.
Yeah, over in the UK.
Yeah,
But
like
then
because you was chasing Catterall. You wanted Catterall bad, man. You wanted Catterall. Bill was on his. I'm like, damn, who like y'all? I don't know, man. They confuse me, but since they got YouTube on lock, they could do whatever they want, man. But it don't make no sense. I think he need to find a dance partner. He need to go all the way down. So Boots is off the list. Ryan is hurt. He's off the list. Brian Norman, he's fighting right now. So I don't know if he was on the list. Was he on the list? I think he was. Richardson Hitchens got to fight, but Richardson Hitchens is at 40. So he got to pick a division that he going to be in.
Yeah.
And get a dance partner and get the fuck out the way. Because right now, he fought to catch weight, but I don't really have him at 40. I don't have him as a true welterweight right now.
Let me say it like this. Let me just put this out there. What if Rolly actually gets the what's the name? Rolly and Conor Ben decide to get it in. Would this make sense as the co-main? The winner of this gets that shot. And for Giasov, he's going to take out a big name for him on his end. Devin Haney versus Giasov for the winner of Rolly versus Conor Ben as the co-main.
I would accept the Giasov if I would accept that, but with Rolly having the world, you know, I think they're gonna have to take care of Giasov. That was a problem that Eddie, he finagled something, so they're gonna have to iron all that out.
Yeah.
With Pacquiao being reinserted, I was thinking maybe they was gonna try to do something with Rolly and maybe Rolly and Barrios, you know, because if we playing the in-house game, that seemed like something that'd be up the alley. And I don't really see nobody over there with PBC. I don't really see them getting down with Devin at this stage, because I mean they're gonna keep it real on him. Like they're gonna be like, man, we don't even know what he is. We don't know what he is. We don't know if he good or not. I mean, we don't know where he's at, you know, as far as what he's gonna do and how he's gonna fight, and you know, inserting him would just complicate the equation to me.
Okay, so how about this scenario? Rolly gets elevated, right? Rolly gets that super champion jump off, right? Devin Haney versus Giasov for that regular belt, because that would have been the belt that Giasov would get if he fought Rolly anyway. If Boots was still there. You feel what I'm saying? You would be fighting Rolly for that, but I don't know. I'm just trying to, I don't know.
What it might be, what might happen is Rolly gonna have to fight Gearsoft. I think that's a necessary evil.
Yeah.
I think they're gonna have to, the winner of that is gonna get then the winner of that. Once you clear that, because you just got your strap, so you did good by doing that. Now they gotta eliminate Gearsoft. Somebody gotta cross check that block, and then a decision can be made.
Yeah, so like where if Devin can't supersede none of what's going on as far as what looks like the inevitability of Gearsoft fighting Rolly, then if he's not in any other sanctioning bodies, well he's right there for Barrios, so he may try to put in a petition for the winner of Barrios versus Pacquiao. I don't know.
But with Devin, what he need to be doing if he was
but
really
then he could pull Conor Ben from the number 3 spot and get it in with Conor Ben right there.
But look, AC, if Dev was really gangster, what he would do is he would be, because they doing it on Rider season. Sabril Matias and Halo is getting ready to get it on, and it's on Rider season. So Riyadh, if he was gangster, he would be trying to fight the winner of that and re-solidify himself,
at 140.
Yeah, I mean, because he's not.
But he's
bring
140 right now. According to the way these sanctioning bodies, Devin is a 147-pound fighter. He's not ranked anywhere. Name don't show nowhere at 140. So he has to re-solidify and say something, because if you trying to fight around that 40, your name ain't nowhere to be found, bro.
Okay, so again, that's why I be trying to say, why is he out there heckling fucking Richardson Hitchin?
Yeah.
Well, he was out there for the TO, for both TOs. I seen him on somebody else's channel. All 3 of them was up there, and then I guess since that was a no-go, he figured, I try the Richardson Hitchison shit, because both of the TOs, neither one of them are in Brooklyn, and they basically told him to kick rock when it came to a fight, so he ain't got nothing else.
Now, I'm going to say this. I did see a video, two clip videos of Teofimo Lopez. One was sparring, and one was him training with Canelo. And I think the dude was saying he was around 150 something. Like he looked big.
He's at 152 right now.
Yeah, he looked big as hell. Like, get the fuck out of here. That was Tio? Because one of the videos is just his back, and he's just walking the dude down. You feel what I'm saying? Shooting shots. You could tell it's Tio because of that style of boxing he has. But I was like, God damn, this dude is big. Like he looks
coming from Eddie Reynoso's side. We know how that happened, don't we?
Yeah, you feel what I'm saying? For real, I could definitely dig that. But at the end of the day, man, Devin, this shit says you're at 147. Who you gonna fight? Who you gonna fight? Because I don't like your pops heckling Hitchens. You feel what I'm saying? And this is for Hitchens. This is a big fight. There's a lot of expectations going there to try to derail him for whatever reason your pops is doing. That shit makes no sense when you're not even ranked anywhere in a 140-pound division. That's just some stupid shit. So it's like, who are you gonna fight, bro? As a fan of yours, I'm asking you, sending this out to the shockwaves of social media. Who are you going to fight at 47? Is there some announcement that's going to come within the next 3 weeks to tell us that you're going to co-main this fight, or you're going to be on the undercard of another big Riyadh joint, and it's going to be a name like a Conor Ben or Rolly Romero? You feel what I'm saying? Like who is it gonna be? Is it gonna be a Lewis Crocker? Like what are you gonna do? So that's what your fans want to know. You know what I'm saying? We'd like to know. We would like to know, because this shit that you're doing right now, it's not cutting it, bro. It's not cutting it. I don't expect the guy who won the Ring magazine. You feel what I'm saying? I'm not saying you cleared out a division. You cleaned up a division by getting rid of that franchise belt. You feel what I'm saying?
I like how you worded that. That's good. I like that. Like that's perfect. He cleaned it up. He didn't clear it out, but he cleaned it up. So that's good enough. Yeah, and
exactly.
got rid of the
franchise. I appreciate that. But after that, like, what's the next big thing for Devin Haney? That's what your fans want to know, bro. That's what your fans want to know. So, you know, I don't want to shit on you just yet, and I don't even want to shit on you. Period. I want to be able to have a talking point to be like, see, I knew my guy was gonna come around. Yeah, he gets shaky. Bill do some dumb shit, but my guy is still solid as a fucking rock. But until that day happens, bro, I may, you know, take my little plastic Devin Haney doll and put him in a room with the plastic Shakur and Shakur doll and the Boots doll and shit like that, and be like, yeah, I got to start cooking you guys because you're not living up to the potential that you should have. So,
yo, let me tap in real quick. I'm on 13% and on my way home in the back of the list. So let me speak on this. Orale. How y'all doing? Happy Friday.
Yeah, what's good, man?
Hey, happy Friday. Salute, CJ.
Yeah. AC back on the panel. Shout out Bodywork. Thanks for having a platform. But no, I love that. I love that idea of a Devin and Conor Ben fight. You got the US, you got the UK. I wouldn't advise it to be next. I think Devin needs to be a little more aggressive in this next fight. You know what I mean? To get that clout back behind him, make the people want to see him. Because not only would the fans diss him, but his fucking financier, Turkey, Big Al Sheik, dissed him. I mean, indirectly, but y'all feel what I'm saying. So I think one more fight, like what I said earlier today with the Rolly, a common opponent with Ryan, would get him back on that page, and then a Conor Ben. Cool, I'm with it. What y'all feel about that? That kind of career track, Rolly, and then Conor Ben.
Earlier I said I don't know if Devin's mentally ready, but looking at what he's doing, you know, if you're gonna go after Richard, if you're gonna antagonize Richard Hitchens for whatever reason, you know, maybe I should retract what I said earlier and just go ahead and show everybody that you're back, if you are back. You know what I'm saying? I'm not.
Y'all want to see him get back to his style. Y'all want to see him like be more in the pocket, right?
Well, I want to see him be more decisive. I want him to declare weight class first. I know where he's ranked, but like it can't be no catch weight. I don't want to see him in Richardson Hitchens in no catch weight. I wouldn't have wanted to see him in Teo at no catch weight.
Yo. It ain't no way that him and Hitchens are going to happen except for a catch weight, because Hitchens is not going up to 147 and Dev can't make 140. I'm sorry.
So I would accept I would accept this. What I would accept, because he's behind Gearsov in that line for Ennis. So Gearsov is number one. He's number two. He's number one behind Mario Barrios, which I mean, maybe that's the writing on the wall. But I don't think it is, because he wouldn't be out here clout chasing all these other names. I would take a Rolly if you're gonna do it, but like if he take a Rolly, then what was the outrage for Marcharlo when Marcharlo told Rolly to go fight Devin? Like, what was all that about? So I'm confused. They got to be more decisive, and his fans got to not be hindsight is 2020. AC, he gets out in front of it. He gives solutions. A lot of these people out here on YouTube talking about it, they don't have no fucking solutions. They just waiting to see what he gonna do and then get behind him or whatever. It's like, no, man, hold him, because everybody like to hold my guy Tank. The big word with Tank is accountability. It's always accountability. But where's the accountability for Devin?
Oh, y'all riding too hard, man. I can't even speak on that, champ. I don't know that storyline, but what was you trying to paint? Dev versus Rolly is the problem? Expound on that.
No. We were just saying that there's I had seen two different content creators who pointed out stories that were written by sports journalists. I don't remember the sports journalist. It might have been a Dan Rayfield or one of those type of dudes, but they were talking that rumor has it that Devin Haney was reaching out to make a fight with Rolly Romero. On the opposite side, I also heard that that there was rumors that Rolly Romero and Conor Ben might get it in. You feel what I'm saying? So when I went to the rankings to say, okay, let's see if there's any possibilities to that shit really happening. You feel what I'm saying? So when I was looking at everything that was going on, I was like, yeah, those are real possibilities. And then I asked a question just to keep it moving. I said, what about Giasov? Because Giasov is the dude that was actually getting ready to fight Boots for that belt, and Rolly would have still been the regular. So Devin was looking at
let me ask you this,
the regular champion.
AC, you still consider yourself a player? By within reason, you still consider yourself in the field? You got the juice?
Yeah.
Okay. Then you gotta be able to consider multiple options, right? So I ain't mad at it.
No, you can consider multiple options, but the question where the multiple option thing gets a little weird and it gets pear-shaped and funky is, what the fuck is Bill Haney doing antagonizing and supporting George Kambosos? You feel what I'm saying? At the Kambosos and Hitchens press conference. So if Devin if Devin isn't ranked anywhere at 140, you feel what I'm saying? And he has two rankings.
No. Oh, at 140. Okay.
And his two most current rankings is he's sitting number 2 for the WBA and number 1 for the WBC. So
I'm telling you, he's not in 140 no more. That's why the fight doesn't make sense except for at a catch weight. It makes zero sense because he's not at 140.
So CJ, hear me out real quick. So we passed that. That's why I say it's ludicrous for Bill to be out there antagonizing Richards and Hitchens, especially when they be talking about tearing down.
If I missed something, my fault. I just tapped in. You got it.
All right, so I'm saying it made no sense for Bill to be out there antagonizing Richards and Hitchens at his fight when they're at 40 and he got pom-poms on for Kambosos. So then I brought up, since there's always accountability for all these other guys, and I name my guy, they always want to hold Tank accountable. I was saying that what AC is saying, he is number 2 behind Giasov in the line for Rolly and Boots, since Rolly got the regular and Boots is just moving up. So Giasov is in front of him because when Jaron fought Stanyanis, he inherited a mandatory. So okay, that's acceptable. Either one, Giasov and Rolly, that's acceptable at 147 because that's for a title. That'll be at a full 147, not a catch weight. Also, you have him in the WBC behind Mario Barrios. So if he's gonna wait for the winner and then try to push that because it was already strings attached to Mario Barrios, he had been saying that. That's cool. My question was, when it comes down to accountability, why were all these people freaking out when Jamal Charlo was in that interview telling Rolly, well, if you go ahead and fight Devin next, what you having this victory over Ryan, if you go ahead and fight Devin next, your career will take off. Bill and all them spazzed out, called them all a drunk and all this dumb shit. Whereas now, just to come around to where they're in negotiations, according to the rumor mill that AC talked about, with Rolly. This is what I be trying to say. I don't get why they do these things.
So let me get it straight. You saying they was pumping the fight with Devin, but now they're trying to duck. You saying duck?
No, I'm saying they spazzed out when Jamal Charlo was talking to Rolly. He congratulated Rolly. He said, now that you beat Ryan, he said your career would take off. Go ahead and fight Devin. Bill and them spazzed out and started shitting on Marchallo for like 3-4 days, had the media all crazy or whatever. And now the rumor mill is that they're talking to have a fight. I'm like, why do they do these things?
Yeah, it's fishy business. I agree with that.
That's all it. So if you're gonna fight Gearsoft or Rolly, cool. If you're gonna fight Conor Ben, cool. If you're gonna fight Mario Barrios, cool. But pick a full 147 and make a commitment. Don't be out here clout chasing somebody at 40. And fuck the fight because it's past him now.
Yo. I mean, I gotta agree. I can't do nothing but agree. Okay, you got it.
That's it. That's all I be saying. Like that's it.
Fair enough.
It's just cut and dry. But the real thing, if you really have some nuts, you'll be trying to holler at. Because if Brian Norman was talking about going there and getting it on with Boots, and Boots is gone after the Sasaki fight, if you really have some nuts, you'll be trying to fight Norman.
Nobody's trying to see him. I was making that point earlier. Nobody's trying to see him. Everybody talk down on him like he can't sell or whatever the fuck. But they ain't trying to see him in the ring. They're trying to throw pause.
That's becoming clear. That's all I'm saying. I'm like, it's something about that porridge that looks like it's a little bit too hot right now. You know what I'm saying? That's why I think he the heir apparent right now in the way it's looking.
See, who's getting ducked right now? I could say Blair, and I could say motherfucking Norman, because no one with any kind of clout. No one with something to lose is trying to fight him. That's how I feel about it, and it's a goddamn shame. Blair even more than Norman, because Norman got the belt, so maybe someone would be willing to step up. But that's how I'm feeling about it, man. These dudes talking a lot of shit and not willing to fight the best. Obviously, I'm not
name.
with that. I'm from the '80s.
I got another name though, y'all. He ain't nowhere on the thing though, but Speedy Rashidi keeps saying these young boys don't want to fight me, man.
Yeah, I just saw Rashidi name in there too, bro.
I'm not familiar with him, champ. What's his resume looking like?
He number 8 in the WBO. I mean, he beat Alexis Rocha. He lost to Romain Villa. He was supposed to, if he would have beat Romain Villa, they was hyping it up that he was gonna fight Boots next. It's just they gave Romain Villa that decision, and then Boots went on to stop Romain Villa after that. And a lot of people have been like maneuvering around. I think they've been trying to get Rashidi. They've been doing Rashidi and Blair the same way. That's why I'm like, why don't Rashidi and Blair get it on, man? But but they're peanuts, late minute, or not trying to fight. Either trying to just give them peanuts or just avoiding them.
Yeah, so he goes over the box rec and has a good solid performance. So at the end of the day, it's like the story of Rashidi Ellis is kind of tragic of what boxing is trying to do to him right now by just completely blackballing him. I'm happy to see his name, in the rankings again and shit like that, because for a minute they were gone. Like Ellis was nowhere to be found. So he's a dark horse in that division, and if any of these young dudes want to get in there and toss it up with him, you talking about a veteran that's kind of on ice.
He number 8 in the WBO.
Yeah.
He lost that. That's another thing about he left Golden Boy with the PBC, and that was his only fight. When he lost, it was like he was just spiraling and ended up on before he hit Pro Box, wasn't he on? He was on that combat shit, wasn't he?
Yeah.
So he then he looked good on that, and
he showed out on that. He was dropping my man, dancing and all that. I was like, that's a good look.
So if he can just somebody give him a shot, but I doubt it. It's gonna have to be like
he's still number 8. He in good stand. He in number 8 in the WBO. So he barking up that Brian Norman, and they say they will fight him. I just don't know if it's a money thing or what. But he's he's at number 8. So he got Rohan Polanco, Lewis Crocker, Usman, Karan moving his way back up.
Didn't Usman just have a fight or got a fight coming up? Didn't he
Usman just beat
he just beat somebody in the rankings, right?
Usman just beat, who did Usman beat?
Yo, I'm gonna tell all y'all to work on your Spanish accents. It ain't Usman, it's Usman. Yeah, what I mean? It ain't Ramos, it's Ramos. Bro, the Mars. I'm not fucking with y'all, but no, I don't. Y'all laying it out. I just got out of the lift and I'm back home, so I'm ready to talk my shit.
But basically, here's some crazy shit, bro. Here's some crazy shit. Blair Cobb is no longer ranked in the top 15.
No man, mames way. Why?
I have no idea. He was ranked down at like number 13 or some shit before. Maybe moved up to number 10, and now he is gone.
That's straight politics. Damn, Don King let him down. Fuck that nigga. But damn, man. That's a goddamn shame. But I trust you. I ain't checked the rankings in a minute. I used to check them fucking almost on a weekly basis, but it's been a minute.
I just be on the rankings because that's where I look for solutions, and I look at I match with what's being said in the boxing world, and then I'll go back and look at the rankings and see who's ranked where. And okay, so you're ranked number 1 and you're pulling a guy all the way from number 14 to fight. Let me see this guy that's number 14. Then you can kind of look and see whatever. Then if both the guys are top 10, then I'm gonna say, yeah, that's kind of a legitimate fight. Let me really, really do a numbers dive after that.
I mean, I'm not going to automatically disqualify anyone that's like 11 through 15 because it just depends on the body, on the sanctioning body, their politics. But a top 15 could be a credible opponent. Could be.
Hey,
so I'm going to try them all.
Yeah.
It sounds like you got a phone call to make, man. That blew my mind. I was like, damn, I thought Blair went to the conventions and everything. He got a manager and everything. It's like, what? You got to make a phone call.
Yeah, I'm all at him probably.
Yeah, we got to find out what happened, bro. Like, why are you not ranked anymore? And I'm still looking to make sure I didn't fuck up and be like, oh no, my bad, he's still ranked. I do not see him.
Now, body, would you consider it unfair if I accuse you of let's say light skin bias by going for Blair? I'm gonna put that out.
He may be going into the combat league. He may be signing up for that combat league because that's guaranteed money. And
see, I ain't heard of that. What y'all heard? I heard y'all mention it earlier, but what's up with that? It's just like what type of league is that?
It's like they go in there and they fight for one round. They got one round, and
No, I'm talking about the TKO joint. Maybe sign up for that.
Oh, but no.
When you say combat, I think MMA automatically. Is that what? That's the deal? For boxing.
That league that they're gonna put Dana White in charge of.
Oh, you talking
about
TKO?
I don't know if you just hook up for me.
Yeah, they got their own rankings and shit like that. So going in there, I don't know. I'll make a call with him, but I'm gonna tap out, yo.
Okay.
All right, bro.
Hey, you got it, Pop. Salute.
No, but when you say going for Blair, going for him how? Like I'm pulling for him to get a fight. He don't even got an opponent for me to be rooting for.
No, you're right. I was just, I was trolling lightweight.
No,
I like Blair because I seen him on Pop's channel. I chopped it up with him. He conversational. just like Norman Senior. I fuck with both of them because they're just like down to earth and really with the people. So I fuck with it. Yeah, I was just fucking with you, champ. I hope we get a fight too, a high profile fight.
And to answer everybody's question, Usman just beat Josh Taylor.
Oh, yeah, that's the dude who beat him up. Yeah.
He came back. Josh Taylor was front running, and he wound
Oh,
up.
I didn't even. Damn.
turning
How did I miss
the
that
tide.
fight? How did I miss
That
that
was
fight?
like 2-3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, I knew Josh Taylor was fighting.
Like, he made it a fight. Like, he took the boxing match out of that and made Josh Taylor fight. Just like, what's the dude we was just talking about? You said you,
maybe I was sleeping on Usman because I knew
Rivas.
Hold on.
Resendiz.
Oh, Resendiz, yeah. Yeah, Usman did Resendiz, Josh Taylor. Same thing.
He was taking some licks too. He was Josh Taylor was tagging his ass, and then but he stayed with that body work, and they call him the what they call him, the train, or they call him something, the what's his name, the engine, because he get, I guess as the fight go on, he turned up as the fight go on. And that's what he did. I thought Josh Taylor had that in the bag, and then Usman turned up.
Early on, it looked like I just walked away for a minute. Then I heard like, oh, and I hear the crowd. I run back, and it's this dude just like, what? What?
And he's 36. He's 36 years old.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So I mean, it's like, bro. This was a great cook though, Body. I ain't even gonna lie to you, bro. This was a nice one right here, man. Got a lot of information out there. Put some real stakes in the ground when we talking about Brian Norman Jr. And you know, what I appreciate is the honesty. When you can honestly critique somebody and say, yeah, but I'm still a fan. So just because I'm critiquing you, don't mean I hate you. You feel what I'm saying? When it comes down to looking at how Brian Norman is moving as opposed to what he's saying, it's like, bro, you are killing me because I'm a fan of yours, but in this fight, I got the other guy beating you, but now you making it hard for me to think that the other guy's gonna beat you, because in my mind, I'm seeing more of you and discussing more of you. You feel what I'm saying? So it's a good fight. You feel what I'm saying? And if he goes over there and he sparks Jin in an impressive fashion, you feel me? Because Jin's coach and everything is like, yo, the dude is amazing. His footwork is unorthodox, but it's amazing looking. His power, his speed, you know, he's just an amazing guy. And they praising you feel what I'm saying, Brian, by saying, yo, thank you for taking the fight. Jin is lucky, you know, that you took the fight and he can be on the same stage with you, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, yo, they got nothing but respect for you, Brian Norman, man. You go over there and you do what you got to do. You come back, bro. You international. You know, Boots is gone. It's basically, you beat this guy, man. They're going to tell you, I can already see. They're going to say, this is your division.
Yeah, his personality starting to really, he's coming out of his shell. He's, you know, he got star qualities, man. And then the fighting style, and with him going in there trying to do bodily arm, you know, he showed his hands. He was like, well, what make you so? He said, man, look at this. He showed the scars in his knuckles. He said, with these hands, he said, and I knocked him out with this hand that just got surgically, like, you know, I just went through surgery and I did it. So that's why I'm so dangerous. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, he gonna resonate with a lot, because that's why I say he kind of remind me of Earl as far as being transparent. Like sometimes I'll be like, man, dang, Earl, you just too blunt. You just, like, he kind of like me. He just too straightforward, too blunt, like hold something to the vest, but he kind of give me that vibe to where he just gonna be straight up with you. He just gonna, you know what I'm saying? It ain't no fakeness with him. You know what I'm saying? He just transparent. He speak his mind. He got that southern charisma about him. You know what I'm saying? And he a smart dude. He intelligent dude, but his fighting style is what's really going to do it for him. He go in there and do bodily harm. You know what I'm saying? He trying to hurt you. He's not trying to play. He said, "Listen, we ain't even try. I'm not trying to lead us up to the judge." He said, "I already know I'm over here in his place. I don't know how to judge." He said, "We ain't even trying to let that happen." He said, "So we looking to go ahead and take care of business. We gonna render our judgment with these ones and twos. You know what I'm saying? Like the proper DJs that we are. You know what I'm saying?"
Yeah.
So
I was super impressed with the interviews. Even the one that he was ringside and the other ones, because there's a lot more other interviews, but they're titled in Japanese. You feel what I'm saying? But bro, the dude is over there like really promoting himself. He's got the Japanese fans and shit like that eating out of his hands. You feel what I'm saying? I know he's gonna come back and be like, "Yo, my trip to Japan." Big shout out to Japan. They made me feel like a king and a god. You feel what I'm saying?
And they look happy too. They look happy. They were smiling and they look upbeat and like full of energy. They didn't look all sad and like scared. Like they over there living their best life, man. So he got to handle business in a couple of days.
Yeah. So it's a good joint, man. It was a great show, chopping it up with you, man. On to the next one. We put some solid stakes in the ground, and bro, it is what it is. People could love it or hate it. You feel what I'm saying? But make sure you subscribe, like, hate, but make sure you participate and get you some of that body work.
Appreciate you, AC, man.
Sure.
Enjoy the rest of your evening, bro.
For sure.
All right, CJ, man, your first time over here, man. How you want to land your plane, brother? If you're there. Well, look like he busy, you know what I'm saying? But it was a good cook, man. All I'm saying, I'm not definitely saying that it's guaranteed, it's a sure thing. I'm just saying that for me, with Boots being out of the picture and we never got to settle that, it looked like Brian Norman is it looked like he up next to me. A lot of people already avoiding him. He has more experience than what people really give him credit for. He was the wild card that Top Rank really didn't. It looked like they really didn't believe him. He looked like he was almost at a spot, even though he had more fights than Jahai. But the same thing almost looked like with Jahai, even though this dude, he's a knockout artist. And he's developing. He's growing. He's putting more tools in the toolbox. And when you look at the activity surrounding him, you can not like what his father be saying online and how they promote and their choice of promotion and all that. You cannot like that. But you got to look at the activity of everybody in and around this man and the choices, that they're making. Like, you gotta look at some of the people around in and around the division that move kind of funny when it comes to this man. I just think that he got a head start on the division. We got to see what Mario Barrios and Pacquiao and what that whole thing gonna look like. I'm not hating on it. I understand Pacquiao is a legend. I respect him. I understand that Barrios probably name-wise probably got the best resume at welterweight right now. I just question the decision, but I don't blame Barrios for getting that bag because everybody wanted a Pacquiao fight at one point. So we'll see as it shakes out. Just check out Brian Norman, man. Hopefully this strategy right here, this should be over with. Now you're gonna hear people saying, "Oh man, like the people that don't really have nothing to talk about, the people that are not creative at all, they're gonna keep trying to drag this whole thing out." As far as Boots and Brian Norman, but with Boots moving out of the division, part 2 is his killing spree getting ready to start at 54. It leaves Brian Norman. So that whole divide and conquer that they try to do with all these boxers, that shouldn't be relevant anymore. The conversation should progress. If it doesn't progress on from the whole Boots and Brian Norman thing now, you already know you're dealing with an idiot. You know what I'm saying? But remember, this is Fruits and Veggies, not that Reggie. This is fact-based content, not opinion-based, even though we have ours. You know, I hope you enjoyed the playback. Listen, I put in work, effort, energy, and time into this. I ask that you like the video, you know, make a comment, let me know, agree, disagree. We don't do yes men over here. We disagree all the time. We just know how to do it, and we can talk it out. We do light sparring, you know what I'm saying? And we all have our different views and opinions. But the nature of the channel is SIC, silence is consent, meaning that all it takes for evil to prevail is for grown men and women to remain silent. So we speak to things, we call things out, we challenge things. You know, if you can't do that in your boxing talk, you in the cult, Holmes. You need to go seek help or reach out to me, man. I'll get you up out of there, man. Anyways, man, the Cash App works, the Super Chat works. Donate to the channel, man. There's nothing wrong with it. Support it. If you found something you like, if you found something you could put on your rucksack and march on with, so, you know, subscribe to the channel, share the videos, you know, hit the Cash App, hit the Super Chat. You know, we would appreciate it. You know, I try to put a little creativity into my thumbnails. I try to come up with great talking points, original talking points. I don't try to regurgitate, you know, and I'm really a boxing purist at the end of the day. So yeah, so it works, man. And got some big things coming up, some things that I think is going to help the channel grow and help me grow. We got some fights going on tomorrow night by way of these two guys. We got Richardson Hitchens taking on George Kambosos. He defending his IBF. We're looking for him to make a statement. We also have Andy Cruz. He's actually taking on the Japanese guy, I don't want to butcher his name, for an eliminator to fight Raymond Danger Morataya. So these are legacy fights. Yeah, Richardson been talking his noise, but I told y'all a fun fact about Richardson Hitchens. He's never fought a guy with an upside down record. He didn't shrink down to a lower weight class and kill himself to make weight. He went to 40. He survived TMT. He has a good resume, a very good resume, man. It's not watered down. He didn't weight bully, and he's doing it under the IBF. And you know, if you've been listening to me for any extended period of time, just like Boots, just like Matias, just like this guy, just like Earl's first belt, when you're under the IBF and it's not for unification, you have a 10-pound rehydration. And with everybody playing these weight games, you got to put a little bit more respect on these champions that campaign under the IBF. I also say that when it comes to Richardson Hitchens, he don't really get the respect that he deserves. You know, he's often an afterthought, but like Rodney Dangerfield, he don't get no respect. So we're looking for him to make a statement against Kambosos, whose only losses were to Devin Haney, 24 rounds. He lost 2 fights to Devin Haney. That's when Devin went on to get undisputed, and then he got stopped by Lomachenko. I don't think that Kambosos belongs up at 140. I'm looking for Richardson Hitchens to show that he does not belong at 140, because I don't think he had the dimensions. He's a name. He's Australian. He's feisty. I mean, but he got benefited from fighting Maxie Hughes and all that. I just think that if Kambosos was a name that was viable for Devin to get the clout off of, it was viable for Loma to get the clout off of after all of his little wars, to get the stoppage off of, Richardson Hitchens deserve it just as much if he's to get past it. Andy Cruz, you know, he's, you know, people say he's been living in the shadow of Keyshawn Davis. You know, we seen the debacle of Keyshawn. We talked about that enough. You know, I think that he actually one of them guys that actually had Keyshawn's number, and now 5 fights in, told you a fun fact about him. I think his opponents were 142, 22, and 6 combined in his 6 fights. And that's not bad at all as far as opposition. He's also either unanimously got the unanimous decision over all of them or knocked them out. But he's a pure boxer, one of the most pure boxers. These two guys are pure boxers. And aside from them two, it was supposed to be Tito Mercado. But the card got some depth to it. There's a couple names that I didn't know that's who was on the undercard, but that's a card that's worthy. I'm actually excited about the card. I would have loved to see Tito Mercado on there, but unfortunately he got injured. You know, positive vibes to him. Hope he heals, you know, and comes back. But I think he's a force to be reckoned with too. He's still making his bones. He gets ducked a lot, you know, and he got with common opponents. He's destroying a lot of these common opponents. I just think that Brian Norman Jr. he's one of the most dangerous men in boxing. You know what I'm saying? He's definitely, like, as far as danger, as far as being ducked and like the possibilities of what he can do, I think he's in there. It's about 5 of them out there that I think are dangerous, but I think he's very dangerous. And I think, you know, not by default, but by a move and the rising of him. He got business coming up in a couple of days on the 19th. And I'm looking for him to handle business against Jin Sasaki. He may have just inherited the welterweight division. I'm putting a stake in the ground for this right now in real time. And we shall see in due time. Anyways, thanks for choosing Bodywork Boxing. Well, we don't take things for face value. We do that body work.
He didn't want to box. He wanted to actually prove that he could punch with you. He was like, what the fuck is this nigga, right? Oh, okay, you want to go to sleep. You tired.
Welcome to Bodywork.